gang violence and other kind of violence.
Get away! I could be at work, at school, in my car, I can still get shot by the police. But I can get shot anywhere.
So it is what it is.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's your boy Jenquavius Jackson, and y'all already know I'm demonetized and shadow banned in this bitch. So if you want to contribute, go to the Cash App, the PayPal, the GoFundMe, or join the Patreon. Also, don't forget to visit the merch store for all your favorite BGZM News 17 gear, including our exclusive Trump is a Blood t-shirt. Go fast before they sell out. They are already flying off the shelves, no cap. And remember, these super gremlins are on demon time.
I'm here on the corner of MLK and Medgar Evers, and it's a very tranquil scene compared to just a couple hours ago where a drive-by shooting just took place. Excuse me, I'm getting live updates as we speak. I've just been updated to the amount of casualties from this drive-by shooting, and I'm getting reports that 2 people were actually declared deceased and 27 others were shot and injured but are in stable condition. And although we must pray for the families of the fallen, we must also praise God for the aim of the super gremlin. If you want to know more about the victims of this crime, make sure you add BGZM News 17 on Patreon at www.patreon.com/blackgenzmindset. Also, don't forget to like the video, share the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and comment on the video to continue the discussion on how we can find solutions to all this gun violence in the streets. For more hard-hitting news coverage from the community, by the community, I'm Jenquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia, BGZM News 17.
And cut.
All right, dogs. Let's get the out of here for these niggas come back.
Whoa. Yo! Ain't that nigga J?
Nah, that ain't me. That ain't me.
He just went live
That
with
ain't
that
me.
funky ass suit on.
That's that nigga. That's not me.
Hey, get that nigga.
Jenquavius Jackson, here live, reporting from Atlanta, Georgia. Pray for me.
Last half hour, we learned the name of the man who was killed in a shooting Monday in Sumter. The coroner tells us that he is 59-year-old Blaine Varner.
So another shooting, this time coming out of Sumter, South Carolina, and it is reported to have been a innocent bystander who got caught in the crossfire. Where have we heard that story before? You know, it seems like these types of shootings are occurring more and more often. And unfortunately, it looks like we have another interracial crime that we're reporting on. And, you know, you guys are going to have to buckle up for this one.
The search for his killer continues tonight. Officers say the victim was driving by the scene when gunfire erupted from 2 vehicles driving along North Purdy Street near Broad Street. This all happened just after 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Monica McGraw lives in a house nearby and says she was home on Monday when this incident happened.
We were sitting in our front room here, and it was like around like 12:30. We heard a few like sounds that could have been like a car backfiring or gunshots, fireworks, kind of vague noise. The first thought was just like my family's safety and making sure that we were clear of any like windows or anything that was happening in case it was gunshots.
It was after an innocent bystander was shot and killed in Sumter this week. The victim, 59-year-old Blaine Varner. Tonight, Tandem Health confirming that Varner was a physician assistant at their clinic located on North Lafayette Drive in Sumter.
So he was a physician's assistant, a guy who, has a good job contributing to society, and life snuffed out. This has to stop. You have the crash out culture going on, the op culture that is now leaking out into other communities, and The damage is being done, as we all can see. It's just a horrible situation, and innocent people are getting caught in the crossfire, and the community is completely silent about it.
Sumter. Meanwhile, tonight, the search for his killer or killers continues. Officers say Varner was driving by the scene when gunfire erupted from two separate vehicles driving along North Purdy Street near Kinney's Car Wash. This all happening Monday around lunchtime. Monica McGraw lives in a house nearby, says she was home when all of this happened.
It's tragic. I mean, it's not anything you want to hear about happening in your neighborhood. And it's not anything you want to hear about happening in the town, but hopefully it brings awareness and change to the area.
Well, the drivers involved in the shooting fled the scene. Police are asking anyone with a description of those vehicles or people involved to report the information. You can do that right now by calling Crime Stoppers at 1-888-CRIME-SC. And
live from Columbia, South Carolina, WIS News 10 starts now.
First at 6, WIS has now learned the identity of a man who died after being struck by a stray bullet from a shooting in Sumter on Monday.
The county coroner and officials at Tandem Health confirmed that 59-year-old Blaine Varner, who worked as a physician assistant, died from his injuries the next day. Our Jalen Tart spoke to nearby residents on safety measures proposed in the area.
Police say Varner was caught in the crossfire between two other cars and veered off the road. Officers say the damage to the wall behind me was related to this incident, but it's unclear if this was from Varner's car.
I can only imagine what he was going through in that situation.
Police say Blaine Varner was driving in the area of North Purdy Street near Broad Street, where people inside two other cars were firing guns at each other.
And like I've said before, the streets are not safe. The roads are not safe. And if you do get in a situation like this, you just got to boom, pump the brakes, stop, and get up out of the way. Do whatever you can. Obviously, bullets flying. You can't predict where those bullets are going because we all know that bullets have no name. But the fact that you have ninjas in the deep South, this ain't, this ain't, New York or DC or so. This is the deep South, Sumter, South Carolina. And you have ninjas who are just brazenly shooting, at one another on major roads. I mean, this is what it is, Broad Street. It's crazy. But this is where we're at with it. These super gremlins are on demon time.
Varner was transported to a local hospital and died Tuesday afternoon. Claire Easton and Monica McGraw saw the shooting happen right in front of their home, and they were forced to take cover.
We heard probably about 4 or 5 shots and what sounded like a car speeding down the road. We weren't sure at first if it was an exhaust backfire or what it was, but after about the third pop, we realized it was most likely gunfire. And we did go ahead and try to get out of the way of the windows because we do have some street-facing windows.
According to Varner's LinkedIn profile, Varner has been with Tandem Health since 2011, specializing in mental and behavioral health. Police say investigators were back at the scene Wednesday morning looking for additional evidence.
So, the community will claim, oh, well, we got mental health issues and and unsolved, undiagnosed trauma. But this guy is out here trying to help those people and look what the result is. He's shot and killed in a shooting that had nothing to do with him. And the community is not going to come out and say, hey, we had this mental health, physician's assistant who was really out here, helping people, and y'all just took him away from us. And this hurts the community at large. They're not going to say anything about it. It's mum's the word. It's quiet. This story is a non-story. It's getting no traction. It happened in May, late May, and it's getting no traction. The only reason that I'm covering it because it's been in my backlog for weeks, and I wanted the full story to come out before I hopped on it. But this is where we're at with it. These super gremlins are on demon time.
We had one incident similar probably about 15 years ago where it was a similar happening where just a random shooting down the road. No one was injured during that event thankfully. But besides that, I've never really had any recollection of any sort of similar incidents besides that.
Sumter County Coroner says an autopsy for Varner is scheduled for Friday at MUSC in Charleston. Reporting in Sumter, Jalen Tart, WIS News 10.
Well, Sumter police are asking anyone who has information to reach out to them directly, or you can call tips in anonymously by calling 1-888-CRIME-SC.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's your boy Jenquavius Jackson, and y'all already know I'm demonetized and shadow banned in this bitch. So if you want to contribute, go to the Cash App, the PayPal, the GoFundMe, or join the Patreon. Also, don't forget to visit the merch store for all your favorite BGZM News 17 gear, including our exclusive Trump is a Blood t-shirt. Go fast before they sell out. They are already flying off the shelves, no cap. And remember, these super gremlins are on demon time.
Didn't know it when he left his house that day. It was his last day.
Sumter Chief of Police Russell Rourke says 59-year-old Blaine Varner was the innocent victim of an illegal deal gone wrong Monday afternoon.
Just a good man in the medical profession, that his job was to help people. And so just doing his thing and going about his day on Monday, his life, obviously, and his family's life has changed forever.
But a group of individuals were selling a gun. A white pickup truck pulled up to the...
So these are the individuals who are involved in this illegal transaction. Calvin Dontavius Epps, Demetrius Talil Reed, Travis Threll Rembert Jr. Yeah, I mean, it speaks for itself. Pictures speak for itself. I mean, these guys, they didn't give a damn. They didn't care who they hurt. Okay? And we shouldn't have to be subjected to this type of demonic activity. It's crazy. I mean, you got a 18-year-old kid, 20-year-old kid, 27-year-old, guy, grown man. The age disparities are interesting. Why is an 18-year-old hanging out with a 27-year-old? All of these things are questions that we need answered. But oftentimes you have OGs leading people in the community, young men in the community, the wrong way. And now we have an innocent man whose life was lost.
A white pickup truck pulled up to the three individuals in the road. The individuals in that truck began shooting at three people that were selling and purchasing a gun.
That's when police say two cars started chasing each other across the city, shooting at each other. Two of the men involved are now in custody, 20-year-old Travis Rembert and 26-year-old Kelvin Epps, both facing drug and weapons charges. But authorities are still looking for 18-year-old Demetrius Reed.
We realize they're drug-related and gang-related here, and we will be attacking these from using our resources and our personnel.
In addition to Reed, who is considered armed and dangerous, authorities are still working to identify the people who were inside that truck that started the shooting. According to law enforcement, the recent uptick in shootings, specifically drive-by incidents, have a connection to each other, and both Sumter agencies will be combining their forces in hopes to combat this violence. In Sumter, I'm Joey Matei. Watch Fox News, local first.
First at 7, Sumter police say a third suspect connected with the tragic murder of 59-year-old Blaine Varner just turned himself in within the last 2 hours. Varner was shot by the suspects Monday during a drive-by shooting on his lunch break. He died the next day at the hospital.
Authorities charge 18-year-old Demetrius Reed with murder. Police already arrested two other suspects in the shooting, Calvin Epps and Travis Rembert Jr. Authorities say that the shooting happened Monday afternoon at 12:30 on North Purdy Street near Broad Street. Police say it started when a group of men made a gun sale at a home on West Oakland Avenue.
During the transaction, police say a truck drove by firing shots at the men. They got into their cars, starting a chase through the area. Police say while the drivers of both cars were shooting at each other, Varner was caught in the crossfire in his car. Tonight, our Jalen Tart reports, residents in Sumter are concerned for their safety.
Sumter community members have told me that they are still feeling the effects of Monday's shooting. Some have been vocal with suggestions in lowering gun violence in the community.
I think that's great. They should have been in jail.
Martha Davis and Monica Benjamin lives nearby in downtown Sumter.
And a lot of times, a lot of times we see women in the community who are, against the locking up of criminals, or who aren't against it. Rather, they're advocating for defunding the police. They're advocating for the George Floyd policing reform bill, and in reality, they want to be safe. So I think we have a lot of Black women who, obviously they're overwhelmingly voting Democratic, but I think most of that is just out of complete ignorance and just not being able to be told anything. Because if you bring up, if you keep voting Democrat, then they're just going to get weaker on crime, softer on crime, not stronger. And they'll just, oh, wow. And these are the ones who are, having the revolving door of criminals coming in and out. And a lot of them will just disregard you and say you're a coon and a sellout and all this kind of stuff. Right. But the reality is, these sisters, their interests are the same as ours, but they just, I don't know. It's like they just can't see past it.
Davis and Monica Benjamin lives nearby in downtown Sumter. Benjamin is thankful that progress is being made, but says it's unfortunate that a life was taken.
I'm glad that they found them, and we have them off of the streets because someone innocent their life was taken from them. And that's just sad because he was a good person in the community. He helped others.
Ashley Bennett Haley has lived in Sumter her whole life. She, on the other hand, is unsure on whether to leave her home where the same situation might happen to her.
I just stay home most of the time because I just feel like if I go out or I'm at the wrong place at the wrong time, something could happen to me. And that's what happened to him. It's terrifying, honestly.
Benjamin feels that more parent accountability should be taken more seriously. That could play a role in lowering teen gun violence in the community.
These parents, they need to get more involved with the youth. They need to have different activities, something that they can get into and not only just be on the phones and, looking at these videos and these rappers and all that stuff. They need something that they can have, like we used to have back in the day. We could go to centers and they had games and stuff they would play with them. They don't do that stuff anymore.
Sumter Police is urging if anyone has any information on the shooting, please call the Sumter Police Department or Crime Stoppers at 1-888-CRIME-SC. Reporting in Sumter.
So it is what it is.
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's the Black Gen Z Mindset. Make sure you go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe, and let's get into the video. All right, guys. So, man, we have to cover this. We got to break it down. It has been a little minute since I have spoken on the attempted assassination of President Trump. And that was a extremely frightening day for our country. If President Trump was killed, was assassinated on this day, I mean, we would be in a whole different America right now. Okay? We would be in a whole different America right now. Okay? So I just want to make that clear to everybody. Okay? I want to make that clear. But guys, we've got so much information to go over. I've been doing thorough research, what we know now, where we're at today, and it's not looking good, okay? It is not looking good on just the Secret Service, especially the local police as well. A lot of people have culpability in, you know, what's going on here. So we're going to break down exactly what we know so far about this would-be assassin, Thomas Matthew Crooks. Obviously, I mean, it's plain and simple. This guy's a patsy. He's the guy that goes down for the shooting. But, you know, there's so many different elements and angles we can attack this with. And I'm just going to preface this video by saying, allegedly, I will map out what are facts and what is speculation, maybe even hyperbole here. But, dude, there's so much information that's come out. So we have a briefing that just went down. Congress was just briefed on, you know, what happened that day by the Secret Service, and they were able to ask some questions and whatnot. But I mean, they really didn't get much information. Okay, so you know, we're just gonna break down where we're at this point. Okay, because we're trying to get an investigation. Obviously, Republicans are definitely pushing that. So we're trying to get an independent investigation. Essentially, this is looking more and more and more like an inside job. So what do we know now? Okay, the Senate briefing on the Trump rally shooting just concluded. So here's some key points from that shooting. According to 2 senators on the call, the shooter visited the rally site a few days in advance to scope it out. Okay, so this guy went to the area, had foreknowledge and an understanding of, you know, what was going down, when the shots were going to be, or where he was going to take the shots from. 62 minutes elapsed between the time the shooter was photographed as suspicious and when he fired the shot. So he was flagged upon entering the rally. He had a range seeker or something like that. It's basically something where it's an invisible laser where you can detect how far you are from a certain distance or certain point. Okay, so he was, or the police and Secret Service were already alerted to a suspicious guy being at the rally and using this range scoping device to map out his distance from the stage. 20 minutes elapsed between the time he was spotted by snipers and when he fired the shots. So that means the snipers on the roof saw him for 20 minutes, probably shuffling with a gun. They're saying he had a detonator on him as well, and explosive devices in his car. We'll get to that later. But 20 minutes of time elapsed between the time he was spotted by snipers and when the shots were fired. The FBI director, Christopher Wray, stated there's no known foreign nexus, but no established motive as of now. The shooter used encrypted communication and had little to no social media presence. So, I mean, this is already starting to look like an inside job. He's using encrypted communications and had little to no social media. What type of 20-year-old do you know has no social media? I mean, even if they're not, you know, a good-looking guy, they're going to have a burner account where they're talking shit about people and all this kind of stuff. They're going at people on burner accounts and, you know, whatnot. So that's something that's a given. And the FBI is telling us, because they took over the investigation, pretty much we couldn't get into his phone at first. And then when we did get into his phone, there was nothing there, nothing to go off of, nothing to give us some type of motive. Okay. So there are live updates from CNN and NBC News. Not really interested in going through those. I want to show you guys the real deal of just how deep this rabbit hole goes. Okay. So just want to give you guys an idea. Let me pull this graphic up. I got some images. I also have, let me go to Rumble. I also have video of, you know, people with inside information saying that there was supposed to be somebody on the roof. The former, or not the former, but she should be the former, but the head of the Secret, or the Secret Service, the director of the Secret Service, Kimberly Cheadle, she basically claimed that they didn't have anybody on that roof because there was a slope. So let's, I just want to show you guys. And, you know, everybody's going crazy. So she's saying that they basically left the building unmanned because of safety concerns for a slope. And, you know, guys, we already saw the building, but we'll go over it again. Dude, the slope that the Secret Service, the infamous picture where the Secret Service snipers are, you know, right behind President Trump, which they weren't even the ones to take the kill shot on Crooks. But that slope that they were on was a deeper slope than, you know, than the roof that Crooks was on to take the shot. So let's read this article. Embattled Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle says she has no plans to resign, even after the stunning revelation that the agency decided not to guard the roof from which Thomas Crooks opened fire on former President Donald Trump because it was too slanted. Now, you know, the meme world is going crazy with this one. I found some really funny memes that I want to show you guys with this slanted roof theory, you know, and so just, I mean, you don't even have to be a geometrist or understand, you know, high level of geometry to know that the slope that these Secret Service agents, and they are Secret Service because you look at their vest and you can look at the back. It does say police, but then the fine print, if you look at the fine print, it says Secret Service. These Secret Service agents here, these guys are on a roof that's way more sloped than where they found Thomas Matthew Crooks at. Okay. So look at this slope. Look at this slope that the police are on. And then look at the slope Thomas Matthew Crooks is on. And here's a meme. Here's a bad slope. It's an elongated roof. It's a metal roof, just like this one. And if you know anything about roofing or just roofs in general, most roofs are gonna be flat. Sorry to tell you, unless you're in a New York skyscraper, or not flat, but slanted, my bad. But unless you're on a New York skyscraper and the roof is flat and they got the HVAC system on top, and you know, maybe they got some type of shingles that are on the roof floor on a skyscraper, or most of the time the roofs, if they're gonna be flat, it's a concrete roof, and you see, you know, they got HVAC on there and different you know, machines that maybe ventilate the building or electricity boxes on there, things like that. Most roofs are slanted, period. I mean, that I'm in my neighborhood right now. I'm looking at some roofs, and I mean, I got a neighbor, and he leaf blows the leaves because he got a lot of trees around his house. He blows the leaves off of his house, and he's walking, And he doesn't, I mean, he got what, he's wearing some Timberlands or something. It's not like they're special boots or anything. He's wearing some Timbs or some hunting boots, and he's blowing off his roof. So most roofs are slanted. Everybody knows that. Most roofs are slanted at a bigger angle than what Matthew Crooks was on. So this failure in intelligence is absolutely embarrassing for the country. And it shouldn't, this shooting shouldn't have been allowed to happen. This guy should have been apprehended a long time ago. I believe that there was probably a stand down order, allegedly. I believe there was a stand down order. This is only my personal opinion. I believe there was a stand down order 100%. I believe Secret Service was notified about this shooting. And they did nothing. They wanted it to happen. Some rogue elements of the Secret Service, or maybe even up to the director. And, you know, there's also reports coming out that the director of the Secret Service, Kimberly Cheadle, is being told by Alejandro Mayorkas to keep quiet, shut her mouth, and do what she's told on this one. So definitely sounds like a cover-up. That building in particular has a sloped roof at its highest point. And so, you know, there's safety factor that would be considered there that wouldn't want to put somebody up on a sloped roof, she told ABC News in startling admission. Okay, so I actually want to just introduce you guys to who Kimberly Cheadle is, the director of the Secret Service. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous what this woman stands for, what she's about. It's absolutely embarrassing to the country. There's a and you know, news reports are currently coming out that the Secret Service actually spotted the shooter on the roof 20 minutes before, which I already broke down for you guys. All right, but let's see. Okay, and this is her explanation. And so, you know, the decision was made to secure the building from inside. She told the outlet. Cheadle admitted the agency knew the building rooftop was a security vulnerability, but still opted not to position agents there, leaving it wide open for Crooks to take up an ideal sniper perch with an unobstructed view of Trump on stage. From the roof, Crooks had a clear line of sight to the GOP nominee with the AR-style semi-automatic rifle about 130 yards away. So this is one of the infamous images of Donald Trump after the shooting. He was shot in his ear, shot him right in his ear. And there are graphics that, you know, show how close of a call this was. This was complete divine intervention. But this is Kimberly Cheadle, guys. Kimberly Cheadle, the woke DEI hire for the head of the Secret Service. Woke DEI hire for the head of the Secret Service. Okay. Here's the roof. Doesn't look very dangerous to me. Everybody's just walking on it and it's flat as hell. Okay. And then she has a one-on-one interview, which I'll try and find the full interview. We can break it down. One-on-one Kimberly Cheadle. Boom. Let's see. Okay, so there's the Forbes interview that she did as well. And they're not putting out, I don't know why they're not putting out the whole interview on these things, but I'm trying to find it. I can't find the full interview on that one. I'll look up for it later. Let's just finish up with this article. Tactical operation experts were outraged by Cheadle's explanation that the building's slope was an insurmountable obstacle to properly securing the area. James Gagliano, a retired FBI supervisory special agent and Army veteran, said he didn't understand her reasoning. You just have to work with the terrain you're presented with, Gagliano said. Popular right-wing talk show host Dan Bongino, a former Secret Service agent and NYPD cop, was indignant about Cheadle's contradictory reasoning. The Secret Service director said, "Don't worry, we didn't put someone on the roof because it could have created a dangerous situation." Like what? Someone getting shot in the head, he said in an episode of the Dan Bongino Show podcast. And I definitely advise you guys to go to Dan Bongino podcast on Rumble. He has really good information. Like they said, a former police officer, former Secret Service, and I mean, he served in New York City, and that's a very difficult place to police, and he did it successfully. I mean, he's still here with us, so this guy knows what he's talking about. And he has inside information, inside contacts, especially with the Secret Service. Washington GOP congressional candidate Joe Kent, a former Army Special Forces officer, wrote on X that even if the slope rendered counter sniper coverage difficult, it still doesn't explain the catastrophic security breach. You can't get on the roof, but you identified the building/roof as a threat. So what's the excuse for not securing the perimeter and all access points to the building/roof? Cheadle has faced steadily increasing pressure to step down as the depths of the agency's disastrous handling of Trump's attempted assassination have come to light. She told ABC, "The buck stops with me," as she addressed the mounting criticism, but refused to resign from her post. It was unacceptable, Cheadle told ABC News Monday, of her agency's response to Saturday's Trump campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, and it's something that shouldn't happen again. 20-year-old Crooks fired multiple shots with an AR-15 semi-automatic rifle from the rooftop, wounding Trump and two others and killing a former firefighter. And we're going to do a whole nother stream on that one. The former firefighter that lost his life. So, don't worry, guys. But I really want to focus on who Thomas Crooks is. This random 20-year-old, incel-looking dude with quote-unquote no social media. I mean, it's very fishy here. It was obviously a situation that as a Secret Service agent, no one ever wants to occur in their career. She told the outlet, "The buck stops with me. I am the director of the Secret Service, and I need to make sure that we are performing a review and that we are giving resources to our personnel as necessary." In a statement Monday, which did not acknowledge the agency's failing in any way, the Secret Service chief touted changes would be coming to Trump's security apparatus for the duration of the campaign. But the lukewarm missive did little to quiet the doubters who have lambasted Cheadle for prioritizing woke diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives like pledging to make the Secret Service 30% women by 2030 over providing robust and effective security, which she 100% absolutely said out her own mouth. And I'm going to play that video for you guys really quickly here. I mean, this woman is completely nuts. Talking about she wants 30% of the CIA to be woman. That is crazy. So let me pull up the clip here where she actually says that. I had to save a lot of videos in my phone because obviously once the information starts getting out there, they're going to start deleting stuff really quickly. So let's see. Let me just pull it up really quickly. Just bear with me, guys. It's deep in my phone. All right. And then we'll also observe some of the performance from these women. All right, I got it. I mean, it's just abysmal. And it looks like Trump had like 4 women on his Secret Service. There's so many things to attack with this, and there's so many different distractions. And ultimately, it's a complete failure. It's complete failure on the part of the Secret Service. And it looks like it's appearing to be a cover-up job. Okay, it really does. It reeks of a cover-up. And that's something that the American people deserve to know. We deserve to know what happened. We deserve to know why there were huge lapses in failure, complete lapses in failure, or lapses in security, right? Let me pull it up here. We got TMZ video of him on the roof. I mean, this is absolutely ridiculous. So let's watch this.
To expand hiring, they're aiming to have 30% women recruits by 2030 and even allowed YouTube influencer Michelle Carre to train with agents.
But I'm very conscious as I sit in this chair now of making sure that we need to attract diverse candidates and ensure that we are developing and giving opportunities to everybody in our workforce, and particularly women.
That workforce will be pivotal for the 2024 campaign season, which for the first time includes a former president who already has lifetime protection. Agents were there when Donald Trump was arraigned in New York.
So you heard that. They were speaking on this a while ago.
Just as I sit in this chair now of making sure that we need to attract diverse candidates and ensure that we are developing and giving opportunities to everybody in our workforce, and particularly women.
I mean, women do not belong in the Secret Service protecting men. They don't even belong in the Secret Service protecting women. I mean, just look, if you see how the women reacted when the shots fired off, and some people say, oh, well, one of the women who couldn't holster her gun, she wasn't actually on that specific Secret Service detail. She was additional help. I don't give a damn. When you are a law enforcement, you are here to protect and serve. And all it looked like to me was she was only interested in protecting herself. Let's keep going.
That workforce will be pivotal for the 2024 campaign season, which for the first time includes a former president who already has lifetime protection. Agents were there when Donald Trump was arraigned in New York.
We were able to work out the details ahead of time of how that particular day was going to go, but we will always ensure the safety of all of our protectees that we have.
The service has a zero-fail mission, a mission officers are training to uphold, pretending this field is the most famous address in America.
A zero-fail mission, and she failed. She should resign. I think we all should get loud about this. We should demand her resignation. As a matter of fact, she shouldn't be allowed to resign. She should be fired. She should be fired, right? Joe Biden should fire her. I mean, it's that simple. This should have never been allowed to happen. This woman is batshit crazy. She's a woke DEI feminist. She doesn't belong in the Secret Service at all. She doesn't belong in being the director. From my understanding, she used to be head of security for Pepsi. I mean, what do women know about security, man? I'm dead ass. I'm not even trying to be mean, but are you going to allow this woman, this overweight chick, to oversee your protection? Hell no.
I think this agency does an extraordinary job of developing leaders. From a very early stage, we hire agents and officers, and we put them in positions of authority, and we enable them to make decisions, and that does develop some great quality leaders, and our agency is full of them. And I look forward to a day where we're able to talk about this agency and whoever is leading this agency and not have to distinguish, oh, they're the second female or the fifth or the sixth, and that diversity is just part of this agency, and it's not even thought about. So I think this agency.
That's wild. This chick is completely batshit crazy. Most likely these women obviously she's probably a Trump hater. And she never wanted to protect him to begin with. She was actually a part of Biden's Secret Service detail. And they're also saying that she's good friends with Jill. So, I mean, it's wild. Did Biden make the call? Like, what's going on here? All right. I mean, what's going on here? So we actually are on secretservice.gov. Shout out to Seek Truth. He says, look up the United States Secret Service fitness standards between men and women. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So this woman says DEI and make sure there's women on the force and all this kind of stuff. And we're looking at the fitness standards. And we'll just read this here. Here are the fitness standards for being a part of the Secret Service for males and females. The below training fitness standards are different from the applicant physical abilities test. Fitness standards. This handout has been designed to educate the reader on the United States Secret Service physical fitness standard and the proper protocols necessary to accomplish those standards. Recruits who will be attending training at the James J. Rowley Training Center are expected to arrive in good physical condition, ready to begin a functional fitness program. The fitness evaluation measures strength, endurance, and aerobic capacity in 4 core elements. The core elements are push-ups, sit-ups, chin-ups, and the 1.5 mile run. The fitness evaluation will be administered at the beginning, during, and end of training. Secret Service weapon-carrying employees are additionally required to participate in the Secret Service physical fitness evaluation quarterly. The following point system will be applied to the fitness category level achieved by the student in accordance with their age and gender. The point system will be applied to the 4 core elements of the U.S. Secret Service individual fitness profile evaluation. So they got push-ups, and we all know how to do push-ups. Guys, there should only be one standard. There should be one standard. Okay? There should be one standard. So, as you guys can see, between the age category of 20 to 29, an excellent score is 55. A poor score is 37 push-ups, like in 1 minute. So they got 1 minute push-ups for the men. An excellent score is 55. A poor score is 37. For the women, wow. Excellent score is 40. And a poor score is 19. Wow. So that's a significant drop. That's like a 35% drop in standard from men to women as far as an excellent score goes. That's abysmal. And that's the difference between life or death. Okay? That's the difference between life or death. So sit-ups is the excellent score for men between 20 and 29. It's 47. A poor score for men is 32, and that's sit-ups in 1 minute. An excellent score for women are 44, and a poor score is 26 in 1 minute. Okay. So chin-ups, an excellent score 11 for men, and an excellent score for women is 4. I mean, if she can't even pull her own body weight up more than 4 times, what are we doing? We can't do anything for her. Okay. 1.5 mile, an excellent pace is 10 minutes and 16 seconds. For men, an excellent pace for women is 12 minutes and 50 seconds. So almost 13 minutes, almost a 3-minute difference. Poor for men is 14 minutes, 14 seconds. Poor for a female is 16 minutes and 34 seconds. Okay. So these training standards are obviously significantly different. And I believe there should be one standard. It should be the male standard. And if a woman can do it and she meets the height and weight requirements, then, you know, maybe she can. I mean, I wouldn't put her on a president's Secret Service detail, but maybe she can, I don't know, be a mall cop or something. But I just don't think they should be having these roles in the Secret Service when they're going to combat. Maybe, you know, admin tasks, right, behind a desk, on a computer, in the AC, stuff like that. But if you see how these women reacted and you see the video, you can hear the audio of the woman. What are we doing? What are we doing? Like, bruh. It's crazy. So let's just watch it back. This is the infamous shot.
Take a look at what happened.
Y'all heard that? So she said it at the 10-minute mark of this video. Or 10-second mark. What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? What are we doing? You heard that. Bruh. She don't even know what to do.
Moving his spear. Hold. When you're ready. On you. Ready. Move. Up. Move. Go.
So this is definitely the JV team.
Guys here. Move it to the stand. Get ready. You ready? Are we good? Shooters down. Are we good to move? We're clear. Let's move. We're clear. Let me get my shoes. I got you, sir. Let me get my shoes, sir. Hold on.
So, I mean, he's completely exposed right here. They need to be hands and... I mean, people keep referencing the Reagan assassination attempt. They got him out there quickly. This is just a poor job on the Secret Service. What they should have done is made sure he was okay. Once they make sure that he's okay, they need to have him ducking down and them creating a human ball around him and moving 1 step, 2 step, 1 step, 2 step, 1 step, 2 step quickly. It took way too long.
So we got to move to the cross.
And they have the woman in front. They're letting him get his shoes. They shouldn't have let him get his shoes. They should have let somebody else get his shoes. Okay, sir, we got somebody else getting your shoes. I mean, you shouldn't even be communicating like this. You got to go.
Watch out.
So this is the infamous image, him saying, wait, fight. I mean, you can't allow him to do this, although this image was super cool. You just can't allow him to expose his face like that. But he definitely took a shot to the face. Look, what is she doing? She drops her sunglasses. Look at this woman. She drops the sunglasses, goes to pick them up, picks up his hat too. I mean, what are we doing? I mean, it was a bad job overall. You know, when the team loses, everybody loses, right? Thank God President Trump ended up being okay. Also want to show you what DEI looks like in action, right? I'll show you guys the woman, the same Secret Service agent, stumbling and fumbling with trying to harness her firearm. Let's see if we got that video really quickly. Or holster, rather. Where's that video? Shit. Do I have that one in my archives? I probably have to just go to Twitter and get it real quickly. But yeah, I mean, it's bad. It's bad. Yeah, okay, here's a clip. Here's a clip. All right. As you can see, we got 1, 2. I mean, this is absolutely insane. Look, so she was struggling to holster her weapon, her firearm. See her right here struggling, frazzled, straight frazzled. Wow. And they over here hopping around. These women over here, they don't know what the hell to do. What the fuck? They're just lost. I mean, this is what strong, independent, this is what it's created, bruh. What the hell? Look, they were supposed to stay on the vehicle and then they tried to walk off. My God. Where are we at with it? Where are we at with this? So, guys, let's break this video down too. This is a video of the snipers and whatnot. Here's when the shots were fired. These were not the snipers that actually took the shots. And we don't have, that footage yet.
Comes right out of Border Patrol. Take a look at that. So that arrow is the lowest.
So you can see he spotted them.
Amount of illegal immigration ever in recorded history into our country. And then
you can see he sees something.
And then the worst president in the history of our country took over.
And then he looks down the sights.
And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that said, take a look what happened.
Look, they thought they were getting fired on and he backed up.
Comes right.
So he didn't even take a shot. It doesn't look like these guys even took a shot. So that is, here's a meme that they're making about these two Secret Service agents. Why does that civilian on a rooftop have a gun? I don't know. Let's give him 3 minutes and see what he does. Right? So this is crazy. So where are we at with this shooting? What do we know so far? Well, we know a timeline, perhaps. We were briefed just now. I went over that with you guys. There are also little graphics about the location, shots fired, as you guys can see. So this was pretty close. This was they're saying between 130 and 150 yards from the president. This is a layup for a sniper. This is a layup. You got the local police right here. They should have started firing on his ass too. Something. You got the counter sniper team 2, the counter sniper team 1. I believe the ones that we saw, counter sniper team 1. Okay. The ones that were on the more bright roof. Okay, so then you had, you know, the 50-year-old man who was shot and killed right here. Another casualty. Somebody else was injured, I believe. Man, I mean, it is tough. It is tough. How could you fail in this instance? Right? How could you let this guy get shots off at the president? It doesn't make sense. Here's footage of people trying to alert the police about a shooter on the roof.
I hope he's turning this way. Be careful, guys.
What are you doing?
What's that? What's that?
Somebody come on. He's right there. Laying down. Oh, no. Oh, my God. Yes. Oh, my God. Ross!
Now, where's that? Dude, that's exactly why we need fucking Trump here.
Right.
Oh, fucking Secret Service.
So you heard, I mean, you hear a lot of background chatter.
Fuck around, man. Holy shit. Yeah, look, they're undercover. Where's that one? That's him, right?
Yeah, so he got clapped, thank God. And they're saying Counter Sniper Team 2 took his ass out. Okay. But we have gotten some information on this guy, Thomas Matthew Crooks, that I want to present to you guys. So, for one, he graduated in 2022. According to his classmates, he was bullied pretty heavily. They said he was bullied every single day. Okay. So that's definitely something to take note of. There's also now reports coming out that he had mental issues. I'll just show you guys that headline really quick. All right. All right. So they're saying his parents were licensed social workers. Okay. Licensed social workers. Here's an interview from a friend. Not a friend, but I mean a guy who went to school with him, rather.
I mean, he would sit alone at lunch. I mean, he was just an outcast, and you know how kids are nowadays. So they're gonna see someone like that, and they're gonna target him because they think it's funny or whatever. So it's the best way I can describe it. And it's honestly kind of sad. I don't want to say this is what provoked it, but you never know. I want to say he was a loner more because he was quiet, but like he was just bullied. Like he was bullied so much. So much.
So they're saying he was bullied. Yeah, so they're putting out a lot of information on him, his parents, all that stuff. So let's break this down. Among the swirling unanswered questions about what drove a 20-year-old Pennsylvania man to nearly kill the former president and potentially future president last weekend, focus has turned to the parents of the would-be assassin, both of whom are licensed professional counselors, according to the Pennsylvania Social Work Board. So this just goes to show it don't matter if you got no degree in social work or anything like that. It doesn't mean that you actually know what the hell you're doing. Matthew Brian Cooks and Mary Elizabeth Crooks, residents of Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, hold active licenses as professional social workers. Records from the Pennsylvania Licensing Verification Service indicate that both have been licensed since 2002, with Mary obtaining her license in February and Matthew in March of that year. Their license remained valid until February 2025. So my question is, what are the chances that these people are actually involved, maybe knew of what he had planned? What are the chances that they didn't know anything? Okay, those are some questions that I have. All right. Newsweek reached out to the Crooks about their background in counseling, but has not received a response. So you can see their certs here. Oh, what the hell? All right, their certifications here. Okay, this is Matthew Brian Crooks holds an active license as a professional counselor. Mary Elizabeth Crooks as well. After the man identified by law enforcement as Thomas Matthew Crooks shot at Donald Trump from a roof just outside the security perimeter at a rally in Butler, Pennsylvania on Saturday, the FBI has said it completed the search of his home where he lived with his parents, as well as his car, and at least one phone. A motive remains unclear. So they're saying he drove a Hyundai Sonata, but then there was also a van that was towed from the scene that I think we covered on the other stream. So I might play that as well. But records indicate that Crooks, an administrator at a local nursing home, was a registered Republican voter, though he is also recorded as having given a single small donation to a Democrat-aligned group, which was Act Blue. Act Blue. He donated $15 to Act Blue, a campaign supporting President Biden. So, you know, his registration as a Republican pretty much meant nothing. Pennsylvania is a closed primary. So a lot of Democrats were instructed by the mainstream media to register as Republicans. And, you know, there was a trend on TikTok as well. They register as Republicans and they voted for Nikki Haley. So that was definitely a play that the Democrats were running. So it doesn't really mean shit to me that he was a registered Republican, especially when there's witnesses, his friends, saying that he hated Republicans. He hated Donald Trump. And he made fun of people, even though he was being bullied, he still made fun of people who supported Donald Trump. So a neighbor told local reporters that there have been pro-Trump signs on display in the yard of his family's home. So maybe his family supported Trump and he loathed them for it, right? Maybe he was upset that his family was supporting Trump. Beyond that, details on Crooks and his family have so far been elusive. Unlike many gunmen who have carried out attacks on schools, nightclubs, and businesses, Crooks did not appear to leave a trail of clues into his mindset on social media, nor did he leave any apparent manifesto. So this leads people, since his whole background was scrubbed, and we know the FBI, CIA, Secret Service can do that. His whole background was scrubbed. This is leading people to believe that he is a patsy. There was a handler involved, potentially another shooter involved, which is being now dubbed as the second shooter theory. And that is a photo of his residence in Bethel Park. Local law enforcement guarded the home from media since the July 13th shooting. All right. And there was a video of that as well. We might pull that up. It was media going to the house or going down the driveway and them being turned around. It wasn't law enforcement, though, who turned them around, which was interesting. Newsweek spoke to Paul Gianfrido, the former CEO and president of Mental Health America, about what warning signs could have been missed by Crooks' friends and family. Okay, so okay, motives remain unclear. Talking to kids about shooting. All right, we're going to move on from that. But guys, we do have new merch available. The infamous image has now become merch at the BGZM News 17 store. So make sure you go to my online merch store, copy a BGZM News 17 Trump Fights t-shirt. Trump Fights t-shirt, okay, in many different colors, all colors rather. You can get your Trump Fight t-shirts today, right? Just support the channel. I'm demonetized, shadow ban. Hit the Cash App, hit the PayPal, show some love. You definitely want to get one of these t-shirts along with the Trump is a Blood t-shirts. Okay. So here's his registration as a Republican, which we covered before. Okay. Here's him graduating, grabbing his diploma. Some more information on him. We'll also show the video of, or the commercial he was in for Blackrock. So he was part of a Blackrock commercial, which we know are huge Democrat donors.
Thomas Crooks.
Haley Madison Rapali.
So there you see, gets his diploma, walks off. Okay. Very interesting. Here is the donation he made to Act Blue. Thomas Crooks, unemployed, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, $15 donation in 2021, January 20th, 2021. Okay. So he obviously was a leftist, right? I mean, he definitely fits the profile. Just here's some more images of him. This is what is being reported as the shooter, guys. This is what is being reported as the shooter. Okay. So many lapses of security that went on during the shooting. I mean, it's unacceptable. Guys, we're going to take a quick break before we get into just more of who this guy was. I appreciate everybody for watching the stream. Make sure you support the stream. Hit the Cash App, hit the PayPal. You know, show love. We are demonetized. I'm going to reapply for monetization on August 18th, but it's going to take probably 2 months for them to verify the monetization, which I don't even know if I'll get, but we'll try it again, see what's up. But in the meantime, just support the channel. I got to take my dog out because he's getting a little restless. So we'll be right back.
Yo, what's good, BGZM News 17 family? I'm at the corner of Jesse Jackson and Marcus Garvey, and I got some bad news for you. As you can see, I lost my job. I'm out here living in cardboard boxes outside of boarded up vacant homes. YouTube said I'm done getting money out here in these streets. They even took my funky ass suit. So anything right now would help. So go ahead and hit that Cash App, hit that PayPal, hit that GoFundMe. Hell, cop the merch. Or if you want to make the long-term commitment to the Jinquavius Jackson Fund, join the Patreon so that I can continue to put out top-notch content each and every day. Also, check out the Rumble, where there is absolutely no censorship. Link in the description box below.
Hey, yo, ain't that nigga Jinquavius? Yo, I recognize.
No, that's not me no more.
Hey, yo, run your pocket.
Y'all killing me with this shit.
Do the opposite of Antonio Brown and take
What
all your
more
shit
do
off.
you want from me?
What's good, Shadow Realm? It's your boy Jenquavius Jackson, and y'all already know I'm demonetized and shadow banned in this bitch. So if you want to contribute, go to the Cash App, the PayPal, the GoFundMe, or join the Patreon. Also, don't forget to visit the merch store for all your favorite BGZM News 17 gear, including our exclusive Trump is a Blood t-shirt. Go fast before they sell out. They are already flying off the shelves, no cap. And remember, these super gremlins are on demon time.
All right, guys. So I did want to show you just a remarkable video of what appears to be a Christian pastor and prophet who prophesied this assassination attempt. Okay, so very powerful stuff here. Really just shows you how God works and moves in mysterious ways. And, you know, the people that he speaks through, you know, it's powerful. So let's watch.
All throughout America, all throughout. And I saw Trump rising up. And then I saw an attempt on his life. This bullet flew by his ear, and it came so close to his head that it busted his eardrum. And I saw he fell to his knees during this time frame, and he started worshiping the Lord. He got radically born again during this time frame. I'm talking, people say he's saved now, but he becomes really on fire for Jesus, for what I saw coming. And then I saw people interceding when I saw him winning the presidency through great. The Lord showed me it would go clear into the summer. Great persecution would come on him through the judges and through the law and all these people trying to sue him and all this stuff. But there would be a stop to it, and things would start to break free come toward the fall.
And I mean, that is pretty magnificent that he had this dream. And this was 3 months ago. You can see that it was a very vivid dream and very detailed dream. And he's breaking it down exactly how it happened. President Trump was shot in the ear. The bullet whizzed by his ear. He dodged it. He gets down on the ground, and there is an image captured in what appears to be like he's praying. And I think it was like the day before, the judge actually dismissed the classified documents case in Florida and just gave a slap in the face to Special Prosecutor Jack Smith. It was a definitive ruling that, you know, was just astounding. So we can get into that too.
And then I saw him winning the election through the Patriots coming out and voting. And
all right, so that was an amazing video, an amazing prophecy from this brother in Christ. So I do want to just, confirm some of the things that he said would happen. They actually did happen. A lot of the persecution did stop. The case with his the Stormy Daniels case. I forget what they're calling it in the media. But the hush money. Yeah, they're calling it the hush money trial. That case, the sentencing got pushed back to September 4th. So that was definitely a W because the Supreme Court ruled that he had immunity. So now they have to relook at the case and all that kind of stuff. It might even end up getting thrown out. So that was another win in court that Trump got. And then he also got this win with Judge Eileen Cannon, who completely annihilated Special Prosecutor Jack Smith. So let's see what she said in her ruling dismissing the classified documents case, which the FBI tried to pin on President Trump. The FBI 100% tried to pin the classified. They basically staged the scene. They staged the pictures, the images that the FBI put out with all the classified documents and all that kind of stuff. They staged that. They misorganized the pictures. They misled the public, and it was completely unconstitutional. The raid in general was completely unconstitutional. So let's get into it. Judge Eileen Cannon, who dismissed Trump's case, completely annihilated Special Prosecutor Jack Smith. saying he should have taken her more seriously. Boom, that's a bombshell. Straight disrespect in the face of Special Prosecutor Jack Smith. And guys, I'm keeping up with this story very in depth. So make sure you go to my Twitter. Judge Eileen Cannon on Monday dismissed former President Donald Trump's classified documents case. She wrote that the special counsel failed to brief her on remedies beyond dismissal. Startlingly, the special counsel submitted nothing during a lengthy hearing, Cannon wrote. Judge Eileen Cannon didn't just throw out the criminal charges stemming from the allegations that former President Donald Trump mishandled classified documents, but also suggested that special counsel Jack Smith didn't take her seriously enough. In her shocking 93-page ruling on Monday, Cannon concluded that Smith's appointment as a special prosecutor in the case was unconstitutional. The legality of special counsels has been debated for years, and Cannon wrote Monday that Congress needed the power to bestow such legal powers. Wow. So only Congress can create and organize these special counsels. So the special counsel that Jack Smith created was unconstitutional. And there goes Jack Smith, and he's angry and he's upset. And this is probably what triggered the assassination attempt on Trump's life. This was their last Hail Mary. Okay, the classified documents case, everything else is getting pushed back. The RNC is coming, and the RNC is going on right now, actually. But the Democrats knew the RNC was coming. So this is when the deep set said, this is all or nothing. We got to take him out. And they literally tried to kill a former president, a current nominee, a presidential nominee. It's absolutely despicable, absolutely disgusting. What they tried to do was unspeakable. And it's just upsetting. So let's get back into Thomas Matthew Crooks. Let's see. I want to get that full interview. So let's see if we can. Yeah, there's a lot of people putting out false images, and that was confusing. There were also, false reports initially, but there was a former classmate who spoke on Thomas Crooks. We got a few people speaking on the matter. So let's talk about his link to Blackrock, and then we can also talk about, just kind of how he was in school and whatnot. But here's a quick snippet of the interview of, the guy saying he was bullied.
I mean, he would sit alone at lunch. I mean, he was just an outcast, and you know how kids are nowadays. So they're going to see someone like that, and they're going to target him because they think it's funny or whatever. So it's the best way I can describe it. And it's honestly kind of sad. Like, I don't want to say this is what provoked it, but you never know.
Yeah. You said he was a loner?
Yeah. I want to say he was a loner more because he was quiet, but like he was just bullied. Like he was bullied so much. This was high school. Yeah.
What did they, do you remember at all what they said to him or called him?
No. He was just made fun of, I guess, for the way he dressed or his appearance.
So you heard that. Obviously was bullied. I'll also show you guys the Blackrock ad that he was in. This is very interesting. Blackrock did a commercial at his high school, and he was featured in the ad. Could that have been when he was introduced to the intelligence communities? Let me just find the ad real quick. All right. Yeah. So let's show you guys this Blackrock ad. where Thomas Crooks was featured in.
Brian DeLallo. I teach AP and Honors Economics.
So there he is right here.
In Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Financial well-being to me is knowing that I can be free to do the things that I love to do.
Sorry, the video is pretty shitty, but BlackRock removed the commercial, so now it's like, you know, we can't get a really high definition version of the video.
I hope when I retire someday, they say that guy made this place a special place to come to school.
There he is again. Here he is again.
And gave as much as he could to help the community.
So yeah, I mean, that is that's pretty eerie. Okay, here's a quick video on who is BlackRock. All right.
Company and Larry Fink hold such power. Why is it that you have not heard of them more? There is power in anonymity. If BlackRock is barely featured in print publications and news channels, it is because they want it to be so. If they wanted, they could feature every day. BlackRock currently owns 18% of Fox, 16% of CBS, and 13% of Comcast, which in turn owns NBC, MSNBC, and Sky. If any of those companies wanted to make a decision, they would have to also consult with BlackRock before doing so.
Wow. So they pretty much own portions of all the major media outlets.
The same is true for Google, a tech giant
Larry Fink is the CEO.
currently worth $853 billion. Amazon, Facebook, and Twitter are also not exempt. And neither is Disney. Thanks to their incredibly diverse investment portfolio in media alone, BlackRock essentially owns 90% of the world's media. If you don't know about them, it's because they don't want you to. Why? Owning a portion of the world doesn't come without its share of scandal or conflict. In 2020, BlackRock became the first foreign company to be allowed into China's mutual fund industry, which means they can now invest and own parts of Chinese companies, including ones that are blacklisted by the United States. One of the first investments made by BlackRock was in Hikvision, a security and communications firm that essentially makes facial recognition software for use by the Chinese government. But this money isn't just BlackRock's or Larry Fink's. It comes from pension funds and bank accounts of ordinary civilians who have unknowingly given money to BlackRock in the past. If we take into account BlackRock's ownership over Western media, banks, e-commerce stores, social media, food and beverages, and many, many more industries, it becomes evident that the company has a wealth of data on us. They may do with it what they please. TikTok's data harvesting pales in comparison to what BlackRock is capable of, given how they have everything from our bank account numbers to our personal tastes and preferences. As BlackRock's investment in China grows, so will China's influence on the world. And our personal data, which was hanging on a thread to begin with, will quickly end up in the wrong hands. With the trajectory BlackRock has been on,
So as you can see, very, one of these companies, major companies that are controlling media and propaganda and all this stuff. Okay, here's a more high def version of this commercial.
I teach AP and Honors Economics in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Financial well-being to me is knowing that I can be free to do the things that I love to do. I hope when I retire someday, they say that guy made this place a special place to come to school and gave as much as he could to help the community.
So there are also, this loophole gets crazy. There are also reports that there are different companies who have shorted Truth Social right before the shooting happened. So there was obviously some insider knowledge on this shooting. People are trying to make a quick buck. I'll show you guys. Here's a graphic. I mean, you got people trying to make money off of the assassination of, or the potential assassination of the president, and a lot of different companies shorted Donald Trump's Truth Social. New soon-to-be unmasked entities bet that President Trump's Donald J. Trump stock would plummet one day before the assassination attempt. Shorts against the Truth Social stock more than doubled from July 1st to July 12th. Wow. Meaning people or large organizations were predicting that by Monday, the stock would plummet, something that undoubtedly would have occurred had President Trump died in Pennsylvania. This could mean some had foreknowledge of the plot against President Trump's life and tried to profit off the calamity. This also happened on 9/11, where bets were placed against the stocks of major airline companies, American and United, a day before the attack. An investigation showed that in both cases, a single entity and a well-placed insider newsletter tipped off investors to miraculously bet against the top two airlines in U.S. who took a major hit after the hijacking. So as you can see, the big dip of people shorting Donald Trump's Truth Social stock. And it was at 36 at the time of this, 36.86 at the time of the screenshot. And you see it jumped up to 42, which is a significant jump in the stock. What is it, like 10% maybe after the assassination attempt? But you see this big dip here because a lot of people were betting against the company, potentially having inside knowledge of this shooting, which is concerning, or inside knowledge that something was going to happen to the company where it wouldn't be successful, which is bad as well. There are other reports showing specific companies who did this. Now, this is just rumor mill, but also I do trust this source. This is Champagne Joshi on Twitter. He posts a lot of good news. So a company called Austin Private Wealth LLC shorted $12 million worth of shares of Donald J. Trump via a put option. The filing date is July 12th, the day before the assassination attempt. That's crazy. They have around $1 billion in assets under management, and this is by far the largest put placed. According to a source, the trade represents 6% of total shares and over 16% of the float of the stock, given the fact that Trump owns 60% of the company. Wow. Now that's absolutely insane. This is a giant bet when you consider their total AUM, but wait, there's more. And he has a thread. So as you guys can see, there was a $12 million put option. A put option is it basically means that you're going to bet against the company. So, if you wanted to bet on a company, you would buy their stock and just, let it grow, whatnot. But they're betting against the company to, so that it would fail. So as you can see, this company put in their put option, $12 million, Austin Private Wealth LLC. And that is really concerning. They said, to make things even more interesting, my source tipped me off with the following two images from their Bloomberg terminal. The screenshot on the left shows the put by Austin Private Wealth LLC that was taken earlier this morning. It shows the 120,000 puts. As you can see, their position is by far the largest. The next closest is Citadel Advisors with 16,770. Here is where it gets interesting. The screenshots to the right was taken later in the day, and proof Austin Private Wealth LLC is nowhere to be found. Why? So that's very interesting here. As you can see, they were number one. and now they're not even there anymore. It's crazy. Wow. So I see. All right. So that's very interesting there. Very interesting. And you know, that doesn't mean that the company had anything to do with it, or even if they did have, you know, prior knowledge, it just means that they could have potentially got lucky, but they didn't get lucky. And it was contingent on the assassination of the former president and rightful president, which is very suspicious. A lot of people are linking Harry Crooks' donation to, or not Harry Crook, but Thomas Crook's donation to Harry Sisson, which is a Democrat propagandist on social media. So very interesting things going on here. There's also images of Thomas Crooks walking around. So he's just walking around the building and looking up. So you can see he's just walking around. Very suspicious. And then you have the Butler Township Commissioner saying that the Secret Service is lying about that post being the responsibility of the local police. Let's watch here. This is a Fox News clip.
Detailed. What prompted me to post and on the social media platform last night, and of course, obviously talk to you today, is that our local Butler Township Police, their duties that were assigned to them, and we have an operational plan that details all that, were strictly traffic detailed. They were not required or not detailed to any security detail related to the event. It's strictly traffic to obviously to help people coming in and out of the event. If there is an emergency, those type of things. We saw the number of people, the number of cars at the event. And I was so frustrated.
So he's saying that the police only are responsible for traffic and, you know, just basic on the beat patrol and surveillance of the area. But they were not supposed to be on that roof or the command post. And now it's being reported that the Secret Service were actually on the second floor instead of the roof. And that is extremely concerning. So who made that call? Who made that, I guess, command is what we'd be interested in when an investigation is done.
And quite frankly, hit my limit again last night when I saw, again, Secret Service says it was the responsibility of the local police department. That's absolutely not correct.
Yeah, the local police department is not the entity in charge of the safety and protection of a president or a former president. But once this started to happen, once this shooting began to unfold, the local officers did then try to assist, try to see if they could do anything, right?
That is absolutely correct.
All right. So basically, the local police are responders, and the Secret Service are preventers. So, wow, let's keep going on. Figure out who Matthew Crooks is. Thomas Matthew Crooks.
I didn't have any interaction with him, but he was like a kid that was always alone. He was always bullied every day. He was just an outcast. Like, you could look at him and you would be like, something's a little off. That's how I could describe him.
we noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
So there have just been reports that Biden has tested positive for COVID, so it looks like he's going to drop out. And because earlier he just said, oh, well, the only way I'll drop out is if there's a medical condition, and now he has COVID. So that's crazy. That's crazy. Let's learn more about Thomas Crooks. Then I'll tell you guys the story that the FBI has given us on the timeline as to how he made it to the Trump rally in Butler, Pennsylvania.
Thomas Crooks was a high school student when he appeared in an ad for an investment company. We found this video on his high school Facebook page explaining computer coding to another student.
The signal is decreasing.
Crooks's high school years were troubled. He was rejected by the school rifle team. Crooks's aim was comically bad, according to one report.
He was in the same homeroom as me.
Former classmate Sarah D'Angelo says Crooks studied the assassination of President Kennedy in honors American history class.
You kind of had to make your own conspiracy theory about where the shooter was and, like how you thought it was done.
He was also bullied at school and sat by himself, friendless, in the cafeteria at lunch.
Based on the way he dressed, I mean, you know how kids are nowadays. If you don't fit in with the clique, they're going to come after you. And that's kind of like how he was. Like, he would sit by himself, play games on his computer.
This video shows Crooks goofing around with other students. Kohler says Crooks wore an anti-COVID mask long after they were required.
Thomas Crooks.
This is Crooks's 2022 high school graduation. He graduated community college in May with an associate's degree in engineering science. He found work as a dietary aide at a nursing home after passing a background check. You could see behind me this cop car and this crime scene tape, which is blocked off the neighborhood.
So he graduated with an associate's in engineering science. That's probably what they're going to use to say, oh, yeah, he knew how to create these explosives and these bombs and these devices. Yeah.
Where the shooter lived with his family. Neighbors tell us the family kept to themselves.
All I have heard is that they were a very reclusive family and they didn't really talk to people. So people that live around him don't really know them.
The motive for firing at Trump remains a mystery. Crooks was a registered Republican, but donated $15 to a progressive group. When 20-year-old Crooks was taken down by a Secret Service sniper, he wore a T-shirt from Demolition Ranch, a YouTube channel that features firearms. The FBI are now scouring Crooks's phone for clues to a motive. This is his voicemail message.
Hello, this is Thomas Crooks. Is not available.
The search for insights into the mind of the would-be assassin is just beginning.
Wow, that's crazy. Woo! So let's listen to Demolition Ranch speaking on the Trump shooter wearing his shirt. This is one of the most popular gun channels on YouTube, a channel that I'm familiar with because I like guns. So let's get into it.
I'm sure there will be a lot of people watching this video who do not know me, who are new to this channel and are just checking in based on recent occurrences. So for those who are new, for those who do not know me, my name is Matt Carricker. I am a Texas-based YouTuber, and this is my YouTube channel. Demolition Ranch is a firearms-centered channel. I also have Off the Ranch Matt Carricker channel, which is a blog type channel. And then I'm also a veterinarian. And so I have Vet Ranch, which is a veterinary centered channel. And across the board, across all of my videos, we really don't talk about politics at all. We keep politics out of it. For one, it's not my bread and butter, but also I don't feel the need to impose my political views and beliefs on other people. And so we generally just stay away from the topic of politics. However, we were obviously kind of thrust into the conversation after last weekend. So before I go any further, to the family of the victim who died during the Trump shooting, man, I'm so sorry for your loss. It's terrible, and I hate that happened to him and to you guys. And wishing you guys the best from here. That's the worst. For those who were injured in the shooting as well, wishing you guys a speedy recovery, praying for pain-free recovery for you as well, both physically and mentally.
All right, guys. So breaking news, the Secret Service Director, Kimberly Cheadle, has agreed to comply with James Comer's subpoena and will appear at a hearing scheduled for July 22nd. So that is in 5 days. Wow.
I can't imagine. So as a lot of you guys know, and we were shocked and confused to find this out, the shooter who tried to assassinate Trump was wearing merch from my channel, wearing a Demolition Ranch t-shirt. And that sucked to see that. Yeah, that was rough. So this t-shirt, we also own a t-shirt company. It's based out of my hometown.
Shout out to James McPherson with the PayPal. Let's see. I just got the PayPal notification. Wow, $102 PayPal. Appreciate that, James. Wow, awesome donation. I really appreciate that. I want to break down this whole thing. I want to get people's takes on possible theories on how this was allowed, all this kind of stuff. But thanks for the $100 donation from James McPherson. Really appreciate that.
Hold on. Hello? Where we at? Oh, you want to know where I'm at? We outside!
I'm right here. And my friends work there. And we make these shirts. We print them here in Texas and ship them all over the world. I've seen my shirts in every continent. I got a picture like 2 weeks ago of a guy wearing my shirt in Antarctica. And so we don't vet the people who buy our shirts, obviously. It'd be impossible to, just like Nike doesn't vet who buys their shoes. I wish I could. I would love to keep people like that from wearing.
All right, so, he's just basically saying, yeah, the guy was wearing my shirt. Not a big deal, but let's hear from a former sniper and now U.S. congressman. He speaks on the topic of just the complete incompetence and maybe even intentional lack of action from the Secret Service and their lackeys. Let's get it.
When we go up as a counter sniper, we put together what we call range fans for our range card. We usually keep it right next to us. It's an overlay of the area, usually a satellite image, and it has our 100-yard line, our 200-yard line, our 300-yard line, and we identify the buildings and the areas for potential threat in those so that when you do identify a threat, you don't have to actually what they call milling out, which is to determine the distance of that actual target. You have it within your range fan. You can quickly glance down and say, roughly 200, and you can dial your elevation, look at your windage, make your call, and then fire your shot. Look, at 230 yards, which is what this is being estimated by, we have to bear in mind something. An AR-15 or any rifle of that matter has what they call minutes of angle, which means what the capability of the rifle is. A standard rifle, which is a basic rifle's capabilities, is 1 MOA, which means for every 100 yards is 1-inch grouping capabilities. You're talking about that at 230 yards, the average shooter could actually point at a target, fire 5 to 6 rounds, and somewhere within that group would be about a 2.3-inch grouping at 230 yards. The average life-size man target is a 20 by 40, 20 shoulder to shoulder, 40 waist to head. President Trump obviously is a much larger guy. He's a much taller guy. So it is by miracle and divine intervention that he is not killed today. And so there was a failure in the breach of security. I will identify that immediately. I will tell you that we always take the high ground for your overwatch positions. You always look at what the ability is to see the crowd so that you can mitigate threats at an elevated position. And one of the areas why you look at high angle fire shooting is also the direction and trajectory of the bullet itself. It's not like shooting at a flat trajectory where you have over penetration and can get other individuals. This is going to eventually just hit into the ground. So the oversight on this is that you're talking about 230 yards, which is nothing for a shot, adjacent to the stage of the president. And there was no one on that building. No one, even if you're not going to put anyone on the building, standing next to the building to ensure there's no access to the building. So I'm glad that the speaker is going to do an investigation on this because I think that it's warranted. I think that I applaud again what the Secret Service detail had done, what the Counter Sniper CS team has done. But I will tell you, this is a massive security breach, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, and we can show on the screen too. So this is first of all, we're looking at a map here, or we were looking at a map. And if we could bring.
So just run that back. They had the graphic. This is the official CNN graphic. As you can see, this is where Trump was on the stage. Location of the gunman. Obvious checkpoint right here. Very obvious checkpoint. How the hell? This is a direct line of fire. Do you see this, guys? Holy crap. And the Secret Service is on this roof right here. So they can see Thomas Matthew Crooks on the roof, you know, and apparently there's a slope on the roof, and there is a slope on the roof, and they couldn't see over it to a certain extent. You know how the other side of the roof like slopes down. It's almost like the dark side of the moon. You can't see it just based off of its position. But he would have to come over that slope to take a shot at the president. And there's already reports that the Secret Service spotted him 10 to 20 minutes before. Anyway, so it was a complete failure. The second sniper team, they were the ones that take him out, not the ones who are being circulated, the image that's being circulated and stuff. They didn't take him out, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, and we can show on the screen too. So this is first of all, we're looking at a map here, or we were looking at a map. And if we could bring up, there's imagery of the shooter, deceased shooter on the top of a rooftop, just to kind of give people some context of what we're looking for here. But to just sort of, Congressman, like dig in on this, there were also reports, and we have some information coming into CNN this morning, that somebody was seen going roof to roof. There was an eyewitness that talked to the BBC about trying to warn people about this. I guess I'm just trying to wrap my head around. I mean, it sounds to me like you're saying this was an incredibly significant.
This is a very significant security breach. And this is why it's so important, not only to ensure that presidential candidates and others had the necessary resources on their details and not to try and save money by trying to cut or deny resource and details. Look, you're talking about even, Kennedy himself, who's running right now, has denied his own detail. I mean, he was supposed to get a security detail as a presidential nominee or, for an independent party, but he didn't even get an actual, and you're talking about a guy who lost his dad and his uncle. So, it is serious when you talk about security breaches and you talk about the apparatuses that are being utilized. And so I would just stress the fact that not only do I see this as a massive security breach, but also we have to play into a part of, you have to work with your local law enforcement departments. You have to work in with other agencies and coordinate to ensure that at a minimum, I would have said, you have a local law enforcement officer at that location where that building is to ensure that no one can gain access to a higher ground location. That in itself could have prevented this actual shooting.
Congressman, you also said that you spoke with Eric Trump last night. Can you tell us a little bit about how the family is coping and what else you spoke about?
I'm not going to go into kind of my conversation with him, but I will just stress the fact that, he felt very strongly, one, about the excellent job that the Secret Service has done. One of the females that was actually corralling around the president to try and get him was actually on his detail whenever he was on Eric's, and said that she's absolutely phenomenal, as well as for the fact that the gentleman that's just to the right in the picture there right now, Eric said these are some of the most loyal, most dedicated, most committed individuals that you'll ever find. And, he is continued to provide accolades, and even to the CS teams, counter sniper teams, say these are the guys who are the best of the best. I've shot with them. I've seen what they do.
I disagree, but
whether it be at Quantico, whether it be at Meade, whatever be the case. But his concern was is that he definitely said, Corey, if that was you or I, this would have been a whole different story. And we just have to be thankful for the fact that through divine intervention, through a very luck where literally milliseconds and millimeters matter, that this didn't end up a lot worse. And so obviously I know it's very shaking and rattling for the children of President Trump, also for those around him, but this is a time, and I like what you said in our earlier segments, this is a time that is not about partisanship right now. This is not a Democrat, Republican, conservative, socialist. This is an American issue where we just saw a massive security breach that could have resulted in the assassination of President Trump. And we have to take this very seriously, and we cannot in any way utilize dangerous rhetoric, which is going to continue to amplify things. We need to actually hit the cool down button right now and understand that America is better than this.
And the Democrats didn't get that message. They're still using the existential threat to democracy. He's a threat to democracy. Oh, he's Hitler. They're still saying it.
And that we have to continue.
And there's even some Democrats who are gloating and wishing that the shooter didn't miss. It's a whole thing. It's absolutely ridiculous. These people are insane.
To pray for all of our candidates, all those who are running for office, because we put ourselves out there. You know, I've had death threats while I've been running. I've had people who, when I go into certain events, I have my, Seminole County police officers, the sheriff's office, or Volusia Sheriff's Office, who has actually had to be there because they want to make sure they're responding. This is a time that we need to take it down a notch. And so we have to start looking at how do we utilize the RNC convention that I'm heading to today around noon? How do I use that platform to be able to try and say, look, let's take it down a notch and understand what this is really about. It's about unification. It's about ensuring the safety, security of America. It's about getting America back to its greatness and where we were. And so this is a very pivotal point.
I'm going to open up to questions from the panel here in just a second, but I also do want to ask you, you are a sniper yourself. You have been a sniper yourself. How good was this guy as a shot?
He wasn't. And that was the thing that saved the president. The bottom line is that I can tell you with absolute certainty, if you put me at 200 yards, we were trained that anything within 300 yards and in, you would only do what we call hollow T's, which is here and here. That is your only mark in which you're actually aiming and shooting for. Anything beyond that, you basically do a center mass shot. When you're talking 230 yards, I will tell you that I can look on target, get on target, and then close my eyes and pull the trigger and still hit a man-sized target silhouette all day long.
Yeah, so that's what you were saying before. One second. That's what you were saying before when you said if it was you shooting or Eric Trump shooting,
or anyone who had true
anyone
experience.
who was actually experienced, that's what would happen.
Sorry,
Sorry,
my question is just you're a sharpshooter. Are we holding? You see what I'm getting at? It's
the average shooter.
The average shooter could have been able to do that.
I can put anyone on this panel onto an actual range,
right?
Dial in exactly where it needs to be, and in some cases, not even dial in the elevation. Just tell you, go ahead and see the crosshairs and aim at your target,
right?
And I will tell you 9 out of 10 times you're going to hit that target.
Right.
I think, having done advance as well, there's such a relationship between the advance team and the Secret Service in figuring out where can the candidate be, where is the counter assault team going to be, where's the
stage going to be,
exactly, all of those things. And part of what I found surprising, I'm not criticizing anyone until we know the facts, but it was surprising to me when we see the map that this building, I guess, was outside of the perimeter and somehow maybe not
that's the
accounted
issue. 300
for.
yards is not outside the perimeter when they have a permissible and visible shooting platform.
Yeah, a perimeter is usually 5 miles, ain't it? But I guess as far as a sniper goes, it's supposed to be like half a mile.
The thing for me is that everyone, I hear this continually utilized. Well, it's outside of the platform or perimeter or shooter. Who determines the distance on the perimeter? Your security advance team does. So when you lay that out, if that was a private business, and I believe I saw earlier it was AGR or something like this, correct? You would actually have your law enforcement, your advance team go talk to the CEO there and say, hey, listen, we're obviously having a rally. We don't want it to disrupt your business. We want to make sure that you guys have the ability to come in and out of the parking lot so it doesn't disrupt things. But could we actually put someone on your rooftop to be able to provide additional oversight? I've never seen where we've been denied that opportunity. And even if they did, you would at minimum have at least said, well, can we at least make sure that any of the areas which is permissible to get to the rooftop, that we can place a security guy there or we can place a law enforcement officer there?
And one thing I want to show our viewers, if we could put up the Doug Mills photograph, please, to just kind of underscore what the congressman has been talking about here. That is a picture of a bullet, right? You can see it circled there. Congressman, I welcome your comments on this as you have been discussing kind of just how close this call was.
This is what we call the vapor trail. And what you find is in days of higher humidity, you actually see this more clearly. This is the benefits of why when a sniper and their spotter will lay down in a prone position and overlap one another, it's so that while the recoil is absorbed by the shooter themselves, the spotter can actually watch the vapor trail of where the bullet's going so that if it didn't impact target, they can actually call for the follow-up corrections. So,
all right. So, just kind of breaking down the lapses in security. Let's see. There's another video of Matthew Crooks appearing in the Blackrock video. Let's see. And they did delete that video from their website. Also, there are people who are speculating that there could have been a different shooter, whatnot. Very interesting, but I won't get into that now. We'll just get into what we do know. And what we do know is there were a lot of eyewitnesses. Okay. So another detail about Thomas Matthew Crooks, his parents actually reported him missing. They reported him missing a few hours before the shooting took place. So Thomas Matthew Crooks' parents were looking for him on Saturday in the hours leading up to the Trump rally and eventually called law enforcement to indicate that he was missing and they were worried. It's unclear that his parents told authorities, but the call happened on, or unclear what his parents told authorities, but the call happened on Saturday before Crooks later opened fire at Trump during the rally in Butler. The parents are being cooperative with authorities and the FBI is still trying to determine a motive for the attack. Wow. So, I mean, it really does sound more and more like this guy had a handler of some sort. But yeah, let's look at some more eyewitness accounts. These are what I'm most interested in.
Just take me back. What were you doing before the shooting happened? And then what did you see and hear?
I was just standing there like everybody else, waiting for Trump. And as Trump started, I noticed two officers that were looking for something or somebody. I was looking around myself and seeing a guy on top of one of the buildings go in between one building to the next, and went and told the officer that he was up there. And when I went back to my spot, I heard that people could still see the person from where they were standing. So I checked that out, and I went back to tell the officer that if he came over there, he could see them. And when I turned my back is when the shots started, and then it took me a second or two to figure out exactly what it was, and then it was just getting out of there and helping some other person out with her child, and we got out, and that was the end of that, and I went and left, and that was all.
So that is more of what aligns with the mainstream narrative. The police knew, they had alerted them, all different types of things of that nature. I want to get into this interview, 2 minutes and 52-second interview with Kim Cheadle. Okay. This is her with ABC News, ABC News, speaking on the assassination attempt.
Director of the United States Secret Service, Kimberly Cheadle, speaks exclusively with ABC News, taking responsibility for that stunning breakdown in security.
This is an event that should have never happened.
Who is most responsible for this happening?
What I would say is that the Secret Service is responsible for the protection of the former president.
So the buck stops with you?
The buck stops with me. I am the director of the Secret Service. It was unacceptable, and it's something that shouldn't happen again.
Minutes after Trump took the stage Saturday in front of thousands of people, gunman Thomas Matthew Crooks wounding the former president and 3 others before a Secret Service counter sniper took him out.
I'm being told that the shooter was actually identified as a potential person of suspicion. Units started responding to seek that individual out. Unfortunately, with the rapid succession of how things unfolded, by the time that individual was eventually located, they were on the rooftop and were able to fire off at the former president.
ABC News now learning that heavily armed local police were actually stationed inside the building. The gunman climbed, but they missed him. This video showing a bystander pointing towards the building as police look onto the roof. Butler town officials confirming that after they became aware.
I mean, you can clearly see the motherfucker right here. If I would have seen him, I would have just shot at him. You don't have to actually shoot him, but startle him. See what he's talking about. If he turns around with a rifle, clap his ass.
The roof. Butler town officials confirming that after they became aware of the threat, a local police officer climbed up to the roof and confronted Crooks, but did not succeed in stopping him.
What was your reaction when you saw the events unfold on Saturday?
Shock, and then concern, obviously, for the former president.
Investigators now trying to determine whether roof access had been properly locked down. The shooter climbing up seemingly unimpeded, about 400 feet from the stage, with a direct line of sight on the former president.
Should that roof have been secure, period?
That building in particular has a sloped roof at its highest point. And so, there's a...
Yeah, so now there's more reports. Secret Service knew about Trump shooter for 3 hours before attempted assassination. Thomas Crooks was on the Secret Service radar after entering the Butler, Pennsylvania rally with a rangefinder, which what I spoke about earlier. At 3 p.m., despite being watched, Crooks retrieved his rifle from his car and was later photographed scouting from a roof. Secret Service lost track of him temporarily before the attempted assassination.
Safety factor that would be considered there, that we wouldn't want to put somebody up on a sloped roof. And so, the decision was made to secure the building from inside.
Cheeto says the Secret Service was responsible for the inner perimeter of the rally where Trump was, but local police were responsible for the outer perimeter where the gunman was located. In Washington, lawmakers demanding answers, calling on the Secret Service director to appear before Congress.
We will be transparent both internally with my own folks and externally with members of Congress and with the American public. That's what the public deserves.
The president and Homeland Security Secretary said today they had 100% confidence in you, but there are some members of Congress calling on you to resign.
I appreciate the secretary's comments, and we're going to continue to be transparent and communicate with people.
Do you plan to stay on? Absolutely.
I do plan to stay on.
Yeah, so this bitch is absolutely retarded. You should resign, you dumb bitch. You suck. You're horrible. You fucked up. Take accountability. Take accountability. Here's another video of Thomas Crooks in high school in that coding class. Let's watch the full thing.
Hi, this is Jim Geis, and this is our Raspberry Pi lead session. Contrary to popular belief, we are not baking Raspberry Pis here. This is a coding course that connects the physical hardware to the software to the student's mind and teaches them how to make a computer interact with the physical world around them.
So there he is right there.
And then that's our function we just created. We just called it switch.
So very interesting. Here's more eyewitness. Let's just break this down. We saw this one the other day, but this is the BBC interview.
And watch and listen to the rally, right? We couldn't see him, but we could hear him. So we walked up, and probably 5 to 7 minutes of Trump speaking. I'm estimating here. I have no idea, but we noticed a guy crawling, bear crawling up the roof of the building beside us, 50 feet away from us. So we're standing there, we're pointing at the guy crawling up the roof.
And he had a gun, right?
He had a rifle.
A rifle.
We could clearly see him with a rifle. Absolutely. We're pointing at him. The police are down there running around on the ground. We're like, hey, man, there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. And the police were like, huh, what? Like they didn't know what was going on. We're like, hey, right here on the roof. We can see him from right here. We see him. He's crawling. And next thing you know, I'm thinking to myself, why is Trump still speaking? Why have they not pulled him off the stage? I'm standing there pointing at him for, 2-3 minutes. Secret Service is looking at us from the top of the barn. I'm pointing at that roof, just standing there like this. And next thing you know, 5 shots ring out.
So you're certain that the shots came from that guy on the roof?
100%. 100%.
And he was up there for a couple of minutes.
He was up
you
there.
You saw him up there for a couple of minutes.
Absolutely. At least 3 to 4 minutes.
And you were telling.
Yep.
So he's saying he 100% saw Matthew Crooks, the shooter, take shots at the president.
Yep.
Police and the Secret Service.
We were telling the police. We were pointing at him for the Secret Service, who were looking at us from the top of the barn. They were looking at us the whole time when we were standing by that tree.
Could they see
binoculars?
Could they see him?
Probably not, because the roof, the way the slope went, he was behind where they could see. But why is there not Secret Service on all of these roofs here? I mean, this is not a big place.
Did you see? I mean, obviously, everyone, when the shooting started, everyone was very panicked. Did you see what happened to him at all?
Oh yeah, they blew his head off.
Okay, sorry.
Secret Service blew his head off.
Okay, just be careful because we don't quite know who's watching. But you're pretty sure they shot the guy.
Absolutely, 100%.
Okay.
Yep.
You saw that happen?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And did you see them go up to him afterwards, or?
They crawled up on the roof. They had their guns pointed at him, make sure he was dead. He was dead, and that was it. It was over.
All right, man. That's wild. Let's get some more eyewitness reports.
Honor, that's exactly where I heard him come from.
What did you see, sir?
I heard the shots. I thought it was firecrackers to begin with. Somebody over there was screaming, "He's been shot, he's been shot." So I made my way over. I said, "I'm an emergency department physician. Let me help you." The guy had spun around, was jammed between the benches. He had a headshot here. There's lots of blood, and he had brain matter there. And so I got him. There's a helicopter coming in to get him. So I got people there really helpful. I got
Was
him
there only
up
one
on the
person
bench.
shot that you saw?
Then I did CPR, did chest compressions, as well as I breathed for him.
One person.
I was the only one
You
that
guys,
did it.
we need to evacuate everybody.
All right. So that's just some more information, more eyewitness accounts. Here's a video of President Trump arriving at the ambulance, walking in. People were very worried about him, and he walked in.
We're front row, and my friend saw blood coming out of his head.
Oh my God. Oh, Jesus.
There he is.
Oh,
there he is. There he is. There he is.
There he is. Oh, thank God. He's walking.
He's walking. He's walking.
So they were very excited to see that President Trump was walking after the shooting, which is awesome. Man, it's just remarkable that he was not killed in this assassination plot. There's also people saying that there was a shooter on the water tower, and this is the water tower theory. Okay. So let's break this down.
Sharpshooter shot to the left. He killed the gentleman in the water tower here.
So she's talking about the water tower.
First crack.
Let's go.
The gunfire, and I just screamed, "It's the sniper! It's the sniper!" And he was firing down toward the water tower.
That's what we're hearing.
Shooting down toward the water tower.
Fence where the other shooter was. There was one I heard in the water tower. There was one by the fence. And
One in the water tower, one above the fence. Now, these are the first accounts, okay, which you do have to take with a grain of salt. But let's see. Let's just keep going. There are people who are talking about there was a shooter in the water tower, or there were shots down toward the water tower, which I guess down wouldn't make sense because the water tower is tall.
First crack of the gunfire, and I just screamed, "It's the sniper! It's the sniper!" And he was firing down toward the water tower.
That's what we're hearing.
And yeah, and then at that same exact moment, there was a spray from the right side of the stage that I thought was some type of gas, like, or not gas, but smoke.
Sure.
You know, blind.
And that was the hydraulic. It was, I think it was holding up a mic or something. It was holding up something. Maybe the bleachers, the hydraulics in this. I'll show you guys. It's a little confusing to explain.
And up front, he said it was, he heard it was gunfire in the hydraulic on the track. So the gunfire was coming toward the stage.
Wow.
And then a few minutes later, there was a couple more shots popping down the hill, and that's when they started flooding and pushing everybody out.
Oh, run that back.
The gunfire, and I just screamed, "It's the sniper! It's the sniper!" And he was firing down toward the water tower.
That's what we're hearing.
And yeah, and then at that same exact moment, there was a spray from the right side of the stage that I thought was some type of gas, like, or not gas, but smoke. Blind,
sure.
You know, blind up front. He said it was, he heard it was gunfire in the hydraulic on the track. So the gunfire was coming toward the stage.
Wow.
And then a few minutes later, there was a couple more shots popping down the hill, and that's when they started flooding and pushing everybody out.
So there you have it. I mean, that is crazy. So they're talking about there potentially could have been a shooter on a water tower. Okay. So let me see if I can show you guys this map. Okay. All right, let's see. I just want to show you guys where this area is. And we will do it with Google Maps. So boom. Here we are. All right, so here is where President Trump was set up, right here. Here's where the stage was at. If you see, you can see AGR is the building that Thomas Matthew Crooks fired from. He fired from approximately this area here. And the water tower, boom, is right there. So there really could have been a potential shooter, and all it would take was boom, shoot from the water tower, climb down, walk through these woods, get on Whitestown Road or Meridian Road, have your car parked on either road, and then boom, you're out like a light. Okay? So there could have been somebody on this water tower who was firing. And there have also been some theories where they're saying the shooter might have come from inside AGR International. So they're saying that the shooter could have been inside the building on the second floor. Could have been, I mean, he could have been part of an intelligence community. Let's just say that. And yeah, man, it's just crazy. So that is a theory, the water tower theory, which people are saying the shots were fired from. But, you know, maybe they looked that way. They didn't see him on the roof and they figured that it was a water tower. But there are people who are, I mean, these people seem very confident when it comes to the water tower. But at the end of the day, this whole perimeter should have been secured. Okay. The whole perimeter should have been secured. So it is a failure on the Secret Service. It is a failure on Kim Cheadle. And the Secret Service is saying they're not changing anything about their protocol. They're going on business as usual. Let's watch.
Information related to the event. So we're confident in the plans that we have, and we're moving forward with those plans. And why are you not concerned that people can carry firearms within that software? So again, the Secret Service inner perimeter is our primary jurisdiction, so I would defer any questions related to outside of that zone to my partners here on the stage.
So one of the things I've understood in regards to the inner perimeter, it's the largest inner perimeter that has been part of the convention, to my understanding. Maybe I have to get that clarified. And so that is one important point to be able to understand in regards to what that level of security about what the inner perimeter looks like. In regards to the ability to carry a firearm outside of the inner perimeter, again, our state law allows for the particular right to carry a firearm.
Information related to the event, so we're confident.
All right. So there you have that. That's part of the Secret Service briefing. All right, let me see if I got any more of these interviews. I think that is all the eyewitness interviews that I had saved so far. Let me just double check. We have some other people giving theories on how the Secret Service set Trump up, so let's watch that as well.
I want to say one more thing before shutting down for the night here in Japan about the shooting that just occurred, the suicide attack. Now we don't know if the suicide attacker actually fired. We don't know that. It could have come from inside the building.
Yeah, so we still don't have ballistics, and there are theories that because there was a police command post inside the building, and the Secret Service said there were police inside the building, just not on top of the building. One of these agents, rogue agents, could have, made this happen and attempted to assassinate the president. So we never know.
Or somewhere else. That as soon as I saw that water tower, I wondered about that. When I saw those buildings, I wondered about those as well. But I mentioned a few times yesterday or the day before, that a shot easily could have come from inside of that building. Anybody who's been through much sniper training or, doing concealed sort of positions like that knows that would have been pretty simple, actually. And then you could take the shots, the acoustic signatures would match up and that sort of thing. And then the radio calls and all the allowing the guy to go up on the roof and, the ladder and all these different things actually could easily be explained if the support base was inside the building. I'm very curious how the suicide attacker got to the attack. Did he come out of that building? Was he already there? Or did he approach, as people said before, you heard that, there's the idea that Secret Service or someone photographed this shooter with a rangefinder. Why would he need a rangefinder there? I don't know, maybe just sheer incompetence, but in any case, because it's such a short range, it's easy anyway. But the bottom line is, where did that shooter come from? That's why everybody needs to upload all their videos. Upload all your videos onto X, upload them onto brighteon.com, brighteon.com. I can't even write Brighteon on X because X hates Brighteon for some reason. But anyway, upload all your videos to multiple platforms, because some people can make sense out of things. Like I might upload something that doesn't make any sense to me. It looks like garbage, but then somebody else can go, bingo, that's what I was looking for. There's those guys with that shoes, with those shoes I was looking for, something like that, right? And so just upload it all, share it around, mix it around, let everybody's collective mind work on this, and then we'll get a lot more out of it. We've got to percolate for a while. Upload it all. Where did the shooter come from? Did he actually come in and approach that building, or did he just magically appear and go up the ladder, like as if he came out of the building? Right? I have no idea. And so, but if that building was the MSS sort of the support base to make that happen, that would have been easy. I mean, he's got the rifle there, the ladder's already there, or just pull it out, go up.
Yeah, so they're saying he got that ladder from Home Depot, and he got a different ladder, which was I think it was a 5-foot ladder. They're saying he got a 5-foot ladder. So there are images of a ladder on the side of the building. So let me go to that really quickly. Oh, well, actually, there was actually some good information here from another classmate. But there was images of a ladder. I'll show you guys that. We'll watch the classmate interview in the meantime. It's only a minute.
I brought up the fact that I'm Hispanic and, you know, I'm for Trump. And he said, well, you're Hispanic, so shouldn't you hate Trump? And I was like, no, he's great. I mean, like, he's a great president. And he's, you know, he called me stupid or insinuated that I was stupid. He's like, well, that's kind of stupid. If he was a know-it-all. So, like, once again, if he was passionate about something, he would just talk, and acted like he knew everything, especially politics related. And he would say it in a tone that was like, I'm better than you, in a type of way. And, you know, meanwhile, it's like, dude, we're in the same classes. You know what I mean? We're talking about the same stuff here. And whenever it comes to politics, I mean, at the end of the day, I can agree, you can disagree, I can disagree. Probably know nothing about it. Like, at that point, it doesn't matter. At that point, it's, you know what I mean? We're just starting to figure out who we like and all. But, yeah, he was real smug and arrogant whenever he was talking. And whether that was his way to try to make friends or be funny, I don't know. But it got under my skin a lot.
So there you have it. This is from a classmate of his. So we see this ladder here. The FBI says 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks, the man who attended or attempted to assassinate President Donald Trump, purchased a 5-foot ladder, scaled it to the roof, which was currently occupied by local law enforcement, and opened fire on the Republican nominee. On Friday, he went to a shooting range where he was a member and practiced firing. A law enforcement official told CNN the next morning, Crooks went to Home Depot where he bought a 5-foot ladder in a gun store when he purchased 50 rounds of ammunition, the official said. Then Crooks drove his Hyundai Sonata about an hour north, joining thousands of people from around the region who flocked to Trump's rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. He parked the car outside the rally with an improved explosive device hidden in the trunk that was wired to a transmitter he carried, the official said. Then investigators believe he used his newly bought ladder to scale a nearby building and open fire on the former president. So this apparently is not the actual ladder he got on, but this is more of a 10-foot ladder. You can count the steps: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The final step, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it looks like we might be missing a step here, but you get the point. 5-foot ladder, 1, 2, 3, 4. Final step is 5. So he went to the shooting range, gun store, and a ladder, and he purchased a ladder from Home Depot, apparently. So let me find that image of where he actually climbed up from. Let me see. There's a lot of stuff about this guy, man. And more is coming out. More is coming out. Oh, here's another image of just how narrowly President Trump dodged the bullets. I wanted to show that earlier. Boom. Look at that. Would have been right in the temple, a temple shot. And then he looks over, saved his life. Holy shit. Milliseconds. That is how close it was. So there are people actually calling out the ladder narrative. It'd be interesting to watch this one. It says, The liars at CNN say Thomas Crooks bought a ladder at Home Depot and walked 1 mile with it over to American Glass Research, where he planned to climb up to the sloping roof and kill Donald Trump. Why didn't he drive his van to get the ladder? The closest Home Depot is 1.7 miles. What if they were sold out of ladders? Wouldn't this part have been better planned out? Home Depot doesn't want to talk about it. So it is interesting that they're saying he walked with a ladder. Is that what the official narrative is? Hold on, let me go back because that's kind of wild. People worry about a 5-foot ladder in a gun store. Then Crooks drove his Hyundai Sonata about an hour north, joining thousands of. Oh, so they're saying, so they are saying that he drove to the rally. So I don't know where this guy's getting the fact that he walked, but is that what CNN is reporting? Let me see. Let's see. So this is as of July 14th. All right. So this is what CNN is saying. Thomas Matthew Crooks was set to reach a political milestone, the first presidential election he was old enough to vote in. 20-year-old living in a crucial swing state, Crooks had already shown potential signs of interest in politics, making a small political donation as a teenager and registering to vote just a week after he turned 18. But instead of casting his ballot this year, according to law enforcement, Crooks traveled an hour north of his home, climbed to the roof of a building, and opened fire on former President Donald Trump during a campaign rally, leaving him bloodied and coming inches away from killing him. Crooks' attack, which killed one spectator and critically injured 2 others, rocked American politics to its core, with elected officials from both sides of the aisle condemning the violence and warning the dangers of the country's depolarization. So far, investigators haven't found any evidence on social media or other writings by Crooks that might help identify his motives for the attempted assassination, law enforcement officials say. But CNN interviews with more than a half a dozen former classmates and neighbors of Crooks painted him as quiet, with classmates remembering him as a good student and something of a misfit in high school. And a review of public records suggests he may have had divergent political leanings, with Crooks registering to vote as a Republican but making a small donation to a Democratic-leaning group. Crooks lived in the Pittsburgh suburb of Bethel Park, about an hour's drive south of the Trump rally, where law enforcement officials say he fired at the former president. Crooks graduated from Bethel Park High School in 2022, according to a local media report and a video of the school's graduation ceremony. Jason Kohler, 21, who went to the same high school, told CNN that Crooks was bullied by other students and seemed to be a loner. Crooks had no facial expression when he walked through the school hallways. Kohler said he wasn't like with the clique, so he always had, I guess, a target on his back. Another former student at the school, Sarah D'Angelo, remembered Crooks as a quiet kid, not obviously political or violent in any way. She said the only time he spoke with her was when they were in class waiting for the graduation ceremony to start. A third classmate, who asked not to be named, said that Crooks was very smart, took honors classes, and was shy. She said that he had a group of friends who were fairly conservative, some of whom would wear Trump hats. There were definitely chatter about him just looking a little different. The classmate said of Crooks almost a retro nerd vibe. Crooks' high school experience was interrupted by the pandemic, with students being out of school for months in 2020, allowed to study remotely after that. The classmate said, and she added that she didn't recall seeing him much during their sophomore or junior year. When she heard that Crooks was identified as the Trump rally shooter, the classmate said, I was like shocked. Okay. FBI agents, like Crooks' former classmates, were still trying to piece together his motives on Sunday. Kevin Rojek, the special agent in charge of the FBI's Pittsburgh field office, said that FBI was working to gain access to Crooks' phone. Investigators believe he acted alone, Rojek said, adding that they had not seen any indication Crooks had mental health issues. We are working hard to determine the sequence of events related to the subject and his movements in the hours, days, and weeks prior to the shooting, Rojek said, while noting that we're still in the very early stages of the investigation. The gun Crooks used was a legally purchased AR style weapon. And apparently it was his dad. Let's see. Let's see if we can find the timeline. I guess that was more about Crooks personally. Let's see. I'll say Thomas Crooks, Home Depot. Okay, so he made Home Depot visit prior to assassination attempt. It's from Fox News. There was also a law enforcement agent who confronted Crooks on the top of the roof. And apparently Crooks turned around and pointed his rifle at him, and that made the officer fall. I don't know why, maybe he didn't take action, but or notify anybody on comms. That's here nor there. Let's watch this really quick.
David Spun, Justice Department, more on the investigation now. And David, good morning to you.
Bill and Dana, good morning to you. And that's just one angle from one cell phone. FBI sources, they say they are looking through multiple different cell phone videos, multiple different angles to try to put together the timeline before this happened. Bill, as you mentioned, 100 people, more than 100 people interviewed, and Fox News can report this morning. One of those is that local police officer that went up to the roof, saw Crooks armed, and then retreated away, only to hear the gunshots just seconds later. That's when President Trump was hit. That's when Corey Compatore was killed and 2 others were injured. Right now in Quantico, Virginia, not far from Washington, D.C., the FBI pouring through his cell phone, pouring through Crooks' cell phone. Who was he talking to? Pictures, videos, emails. They want to know if other people may have known about this plan. This investigation certainly is far from over. This morning, FBI agents were on scene at the AGR building. That's the building where Crooks stood on the roof. That's in Butler. That's very close to the site, obviously. That's where he fired his AR-15 style rifle, according to police. Employees are back at work for the first time today since that shooting. Sources tell Fox the building where he stood was outside the perimeter. It was a responsibility of local authorities. And we reported first yesterday, local police used it as a staging ground. Police were actually near or even in the building and still missed.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy.
The suspect on the roof. Still, the Secret Service under increasing pressure to explain. Director Kimberly Cheadle expected to meet virtually with lawmakers in a few hours to answer for the deadly mistake. Yesterday, FBI agents walked in and out of Crooks' home south of Pittsburgh. Explosive material found in his home and what appears to be IEDs in his car, also at the FBI lab in Quantico, Virginia, along with his laptop and cell phone, as I mentioned. The Crooks family, is cooperating with authorities. The gun was bought legally in 2013 by Crooks' father, an AR-style rifle. Authorities found more than a dozen guns in the home. Fox News is told Crooks bought multiple rounds of ammunition before Saturday's shooting. He also belonged to a local firing range. The site of the shooting, still a crime scene. Now, police were told that they saw a suspicious person in and around the magnetometers before the rally began. It turns out that person was Crooks. So many questions. Those questions we will hear posed to Secret Service Director Kim Cheadle. She's meeting virtually today with lawmakers, but next Monday she will appear before the House Oversight Committee.
So that's going to be interesting to watch. And here's CNN breaking down his movements. I guess they're not going to. Yeah, okay, let's just read this article and then I think that'll wrap it up unless there's any more new information that I'm missing. Let me just make sure I showed you guys everything. All right. I mean, people are coming pretty strongly, as they should be, coming down pretty strongly on Cheadle here. This woman is, I mean, it's looking like she's a traitor to the country, honestly. I'm not even gonna lie to you. It's looking like she's a traitorous ass bitch. But anyways, in the 48 hours before he opened fire on former President Donald Trump, Thomas Matthew Crooks made a series of stops in and around his suburban Pittsburgh home. On Friday, he went to a shooting range where he was a member and practiced firing, a law enforcement official told CNN. The next morning, Crooks went to a Home Depot where he bought a 5-foot ladder and a gun store where he purchased 50 rounds of ammunition, the official said. Then Crooks drove his Hyundai Sonata about an hour north, joining thousands of people from around the region who flocked to Trump's rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. He parked the car outside the rally with an improved explosive device hidden in the trunk that was wired to a transmitter he carried, the official said. Then investigators believe he used his newly bought ladder to scale a nearby building and open fire on the former president. And investigators continue to search for a motive during the attempted assassination, they are scrutinizing Crooks' movements before the attack and trying to piece together a timeline of his actions leading up to it. Yet nearly 48 hours after the shooting, investigators are stuck by the lack of leads they're finding about Crooks' mindset and possible motives. Even after successfully breaking into his phone and searching his computer, scouring his search history and bedroom, and interviewing his family and friends, agents still haven't found evidence that would suggest political or ideological impetus for the shooting, law enforcement sources told CNN. So sounds like he's got a handler set up to be a patsy and a second shooter somewhere, potentially. And this is all alleged, but this is just what it's looking like to me. Instead, the evidence they have found appears to show typical online activities, including an interest in computer coding and gaming, the sources said, and that has raised more questions. And a sign that his attack could have been even more destructive, Crooks had a remote control detonator on his body, and his car's trunk contained a metal box of explosive that was connected with wires to a receiver, the law enforcement source said. That suggests the gunman may have been planning to set off an explosion remotely, and investigators are considering the theory that he may have been planning a distraction during the shooting. It's unclear how Crooks assembled the explosive devices found in his car. Investigators parsing through his online search history haven't found any indication of him researching how to make homemade explosives, law enforcement officials said. The AR-style rifle Crooks used to fire on Trump was legally purchased by his father, Matthew Crooks. It was one of more than 20 firearms registered to the elder Crooks, which were kept at the family's home, according to Pennsylvania State Police records reviewed by investigators, the official said. All the guns were legally purchased. The gunman and his father were members of Clareton Sportsman Club, a gun club about 25 minutes from his house, and enjoyed going shooting there together, according to law enforcement officials. Rob Boutte, a lawyer for the club, confirmed in a statement that the younger Crooks was a member. The club, which had 2,000 members, features a rifle shooting range that is roughly 200 yards long, according to a CNN analyst of satellite images. The club fully admonishes the senseless act of violence occurred. Here are more images of his home. So that's pretty much what we have on his movements leading up from the initial or the official narrative. Here's another video of Crooks just on some weird shit, I guess.
Before, I go to Stanford University. I have a 10-inch penis, and
this is him claiming he has a 10-inch penis. And they're saying that he had a mental disorder. Not really sure about that. Let's see. And if you can see here, they're confirming that this Secret Service agent did not fire the fatal shot.
And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
So he over here flinching. This shit's crazy, bruh. Let's see what else I got. All right. Let me see. All right, cool. Here's some more information alluding to the fact that it was a stand down order or an inside job going on.
Aaron, there's been some developments as the investigation has progressed. You know, what the investigators are telling us is, as far as a motive, a manifesto, the reasoning behind this, the suspect is still a blank slate. But what they have developed is a lot of the background about what happened that day. They know that he went to his employer at the nursing home where he works as a dietary specialist before this and said, I need salad.
And let me just pause it right here. There are also reports that the U.S. intel community received threats from Iran and an assassination threat on Trump from Iran that led to the Secret Service increasing his security detail before Saturday's shooting, allegedly. But this plot has no known connection to Crooks, which honestly, it doesn't look like they increased his security.
Saturday off, I have something important to do. But he told his coworkers, I'll see you on Sunday. So he changed his days off, presumably for this. We also understand that when he got to the fairgrounds where this rally was being held for Donald Trump, the first thing that puts him on the radar of security people is near the magnetometer area where they're screening people in. He's carrying in his hand a rangefinder. It's a device that looks like a small pair of binoculars, but it's used by shooters to measure the distance when they're setting up a long distance shot. Because he didn't have a weapon, that would not have prevented him to go through security. But they did flag, what does he have this in his hand for? At that point, they told people, keep an eye on this guy. But then he leaves the secure area, the staging area, and he doesn't turn up again for some time until the crowd says there's a guy crawling up the roof and it appears he has a rifle. There is an eerie moment in here, Aaron, where he's taking the rangefinder and he's looking through it at the counter sniper positions. And one of the counter sniper positions is looking at him through the scope. At this point, there's not a gun in the picture, as I understand it, but they're saying he's looking at us, looking at him. Then when people alert the police and they try to come up the ladder to get him, and he confronts them with the AR-15 gun, they dive for cover. And then a moment later, he opens fire. But a lot of this sounds very spread out. The end of it happens very quickly. The last piece is the search of the car. As we reported last night, 2 remote-controlled IEDs, remote-controlled bombs in the car. The remote control for those devices found on his person on the roof, according to sources. 3 fully loaded magazines with nearly 100 rounds, a bulletproof vest. So it raises the question, did he expect to escape from this? And if so, what was all that intended for? What was to happen next? Questions that are still open in the minds of these investigators.
Sorry. Apparently, he went into work at a nursing home and asked for Saturday off, but told coworkers he'd see them on Sunday. He had detonation devices in his vehicle. People are putting out, recirculating this Super Bowl meme that Joe Biden posted, the shooting just like we drew it up. So, you know what I'm saying? It's absolutely ridiculous, crazy. Here's another meme of a guardian angel blocking the bullet from Trump. Amazing image. Amazing image here. Let's see. Whew. Let's oh yeah, there's another image of the FBI cleaning up the crime scene, which looks like a cover-up. Why the hell is the FBI washing the windows and washing the siding? Removing the gunshot residue. I mean, this is, to me, this stinks of an inside job. Reeks of an inside job. I got a couple more graphics I want to show you guys. Let's see. Hold on, there's somebody in my front yard moving shifty. What the hell? The hell? I was finna say. All right, so let me keep going. Sorry, it was somebody in the looked like they was pulling in the driveway. Okay. Oh, so there also are reports that are probably false, but it's rumor mill, so I thought I'd bring it up. Counter sniper's request to kill the assassin prior to his shot was denied by Secret Service. The rumor is completely unconfirmed. It is unclear if the counter sniper on the roof behind the president were with the Secret Service or local law enforcement. But now we know they actually were with the Secret Service. And people are saying that they had a stand down order, and they're saying, there's this story from a 4chan thread of Jonathan Wilson, allegedly the Secret Service agent who was on the roof, had a stand down order, and then he ended up taking the shots anyway, and he lost his job and all this kind of stuff. That was the narrative. But I think that narrative is debunked because we now know that the shooters on the slanted roof that Kimberly Cheadle said was so dangerous, these shooters didn't actually take a shot. Okay. So these guys were not the shooters. They're counter sniper team 1, and then there's a counter sniper team 2. And these guys were part of counter sniper team 1. Counter sniper team 2 are the ones who took out Thomas Matthew Crooks. So let's see. I got another story, another graphic. Let's see. I am looking for the other image of the roof he could have climbed on, because they're saying there was a smaller part where he put that 5-foot ladder. But obviously, if the mainstream media is trying to say that this is a 5-foot ladder, you got to be out your fucking mind, right? Obviously, nobody's going for that. Let's see. All right, so this is also I believe he's part of the police that's speaking on the matter and saying that they were notified. I think this is the commissioner.
All law enforcement were notified of a suspicious person somewhere on the grounds. Once the suspicious individual was identified as being in the vicinity of the AGR building, our police, who were primarily assigned to traffic duty and traffic control, did in fact, because of proximity, move towards that building to assist in trying to find and identify, the suspicious person. It's a light manufacturing office building. I'm not aware of a very specific assignment, not being part of the planning meetings, to whether or not anybody was truly assigned, dedicated to not only the building but that immediate grounds. I don't have that answer. One of our police officers, long-term, police officer here with our department. Once that suspicious individual report came out and our police arrived, in the immediate area of the building, they did do a perimeter search. Were unable to see the person on top of the building from their vantage point. So one of our other police officers, 2 total, literally boosted one of our police officers up high enough in the air to grab hold of the edge of the roof. Approximate height of 12 feet from ground to.
So a police officer helped another officer get to the roof,
where he was able to grab a handhold. Officer pulled himself up to where his head was above the roof, Did observe an individual on the roof. Individual was identified as having a weapon.
And just understand, everybody was notified and they still let Trump get on the stage. Secret Service was notified and they still let Trump get on the stage. Secret Service was notified there's a suspicious man on the roof with a gun and they still let Trump get on the stage. Okay, let's continue.
Did point that firearm at our officer.
So he's saying Thomas Matthew Crooks pointed the firearm at the officers and it made one of the officers fall.
Above the roof. Did observe an individual on the roof. Individual was identified as having a weapon and did point that firearm at our officer. That time, our officer took up a defensive position from hanging from a ledge, ducked his head, did in fact lose his grip, fell approximately 8 feet, did sustain an injury to his ankle. While prone on the ground, both the lifting officer and the prone officer both called in, identifying the individual on the roof as being armed. We did not man the actual entrance gates. I've heard the same story, but I don't have any other information than what's being broadcast right now. I can tell you, if there is none of that spilled over into this building, and none of it's been directed, to our officers, there has, to the best of my knowledge, not been any direct communication with members of Secret Service to our officials. There are ongoing interviews with all law enforcement that were at the event, regardless of what their roles were. So we're all just waiting on that information to be all put together into one public report. I think there's some misconception about overall response. I can only speak for our officers transitioning from what was supposed to be a primary traffic control assistance to where it became a person of suspicion or a suspicious person. I think our law enforcement did exactly what training taught them to do, and they did their job. How subsequent events played out, that's another thing for what I hope to be a really complete report on the incident to educate everybody. A gap in time with unknowns that leads to all the angry emails and calls that township elected officials, myself, and especially the police are receiving. Again, hopefully the report is as timely as possible and given in a way that the public can clearly follow the timelines and how different components happened, and everybody not just learns from it, but just not living in fear, but just living, get away from it. I think I'd welcome any kind of a review that gets benefit, from the outcome. Unfortunate tragedy. Certainly hope that whatever is out there to be learned from it gets learned, and we apply that to everything going forward. So I have not been asked any questions. Again, I was more of an administrative support and offered to help with logistics, but I wasn't in any of the actual planning meetings. I wasn't in any of the formulation of an operations report that was given to our officers, which we generated internally. So I have not been asked any questions. As far as the overall interviews that I'm aware of that are taking place that the FBI are spearheading, I think they're all fact finding from everybody that was involved. My understanding is they're going to take place this week. What the duration is, I don't know. Yeah, so I think the overall operation plan that the Butler Township Police developed for their role in the traffic control, well laid out, well planned, intercommunicated with other agencies, that were tasked with the event as a whole. I thought that their response to going from traffic control.
All right, guys, breaking news. The local police warned the Secret Service ahead of time that they didn't have the manpower to secure the building where Thomas Matthew Crooks shot and injured Donald Trump. Richard Goldinger, the district attorney in Butler County Police, or Pennsylvania, where Saturday's campaign rally was held, said the Secret Service was informed that the local police department did not have manpower to assist with securing the building. That's from the New York Post.
And or potentially patrol into a potential active shooter kind of a response. Spoke well to their training, spoke well to them doing their job. You know, they responded as timely as they were notified, and took probably an unorthodox method of trying to identify anybody on the roof, because there wasn't access to it. It is unfortunate that one officer did get hurt, but I'd like to think that their timely identification hopefully helped minimize as best as possible the overall situation. I can honestly say here right now, I have not seen any type of email and or call-in correspondence that was direct threatening. However, the harshness of criticism from both sides of the spectrum been pretty brutal and relentless.
And hopefully, because the police are being criticized, they're going to give us what they know and say, hey, it wasn't our fault. It was Secret Service. Somebody got to throw somebody under the bus and speak the truth, because you don't want this to fall back on your jurisdiction poorly.
It's been going on for roughly 2 days now. Again, I think when the entirety of the investigation is done and we have the full, complete story of how this whole event unfolded, hopefully those that are as quick to send a hate email could send back an apology just as quickly.
All right, so he thinks they deserve an apology, man. I really believe that they dropped the ball too, because they could have stopped it for sure. But ultimately, it was the Secret Service job. So that's where we need to put the bulk of our blame. Well, let's watch this clip from Fox News.
On what the Secret Service knew about the shooter minutes before Donald Trump took the stage. For more, we want to go to Aisha, because there was a briefing today. You got some information about what happened, Aisha?
Dana, good afternoon to you. We just got a big information dump, and some of it is deeply, deeply troubling. So I'm going to hold your hand and walk you through this. Just bear with me here. A lot of notes that I'm going to look at here. Just about a couple minutes ago, these senators came out of this briefing with Secret Service. They've been asking for it for days now. Finally got it with the director and Secret Service staff. And the top headline that has come out of it, according to Senator John Barrasso, just spoke to him as soon as he hung up on this briefing. He said that apparently the Secret Service.
So just another look at the teleprompters to debunk the broken glass theory. The teleprompters are intact. There was no broken glass from the teleprompters. Trump was indeed shot in the ear and almost shot in the head.
He said that apparently the Secret Service had identified as a character of suspicion this man, this shooter, because they saw a rangefinder on him as well as a backpack. And this all happened more than an hour before the shooting actually occurred. So they saw the guy and they identified this guy as suspicious. Now, more details coming from a source familiar here who was also in the meeting tells me that about 10 minutes before former President Trump went onto the stage, they had gone from looking at this guy as suspicious to now looking at him as a threat. That is coming from this briefing that the senators were in. They were told that Secret Service had called it in to a center that this guy they now identified as a threat about 10 minutes before President Trump walked on stage, and they still allowed him to walk onto that stage. I'm told the Secret Service agent in charge there was on the phone with local and state police about the threat while the shooting was taking place. That's huge. And that is raising a lot of concerns and now major calls for the director of the Secret Service to step down immediately.
Yeah, I just don't understand how she hasn't resigned already. Here's the last video that we're going to play before we get out of here. I think we've covered pretty much every angle so far that we know as thoroughly as possible. But let's.
For more, we want to go to Aisha.
Sorry.
My guys, take a look at that chart. Take a look at the arrow on the bottom. See the big red arrow? right? So that's what I
Here's a
left
different
office.
angle.
That was the lowest point, and that comes right from the government services, comes right out of Border Patrol. Take a look at that. So that arrow is the lowest amount of illegal immigration ever in recorded history into our country. And then the worst president in the history of our country took over. And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And
Here we
if
go.
you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
Oh, shit. He didn't get it. Still more video, though.
Down. Stay down. Stay down. Get down. Get down. Get down. Hey, get down. Get down. Get down, guys. Holy shit. No fucking way.
You see the people are pissed.
Are you ready? Down, down, down. Someone shot. Someone shot. I'm good. Check. Somebody got fucking hit. Somebody got shot. Get in. Get down. You're fine. Get the fuck down. Get down. Stay down.
Wow.
You hear it again, go in the fucking opposite direction. Stay down. Again, going opposite direction.
Somebody got shot over here.
Stay down. Get down.
Wow. Amazing moment. Absolutely heart-stopping. Wow. I'm getting chills just now watching this. Holy crap.
Somebody shot. Somebody's been shot.
Wow.
Medic! You need somebody to help cover them? Good. Where we gotta go? Where we go? We got cops back there. Get up! Get up!
All right, now I'm gonna stop it there because I don't know if there's like graphic information, or graphic images. Wow. Wow. I mean, we've covered pretty much everything that's out so far. Let me just double check to make sure. Let me just see. Yep. Biden is basically, he got COVID. He's probably going to drop out of the race, is what everybody's saying. Here's Van Jones on it. Biden is probably going to drop out of the race.
If you pull back and look at this thing, strength versus weakness.
Oh, that's pretty low. Let me see if I can find.
Strength versus weakness. A bullet couldn't stop Trump. A virus just stopped Biden. You got the nominees of this party getting their butts kissed. Biden's getting his butt kicked by his own party.
So Van Jones is throwing Biden under the bus. The assassination attempt failed. The deep state and the Democrats don't know what to do. And now Biden is saying that he's going to drop out if he gets sick. Now they've confirmed that he does have COVID. He is sick. He asked CNN, a CNN commentator, if Kamala could win. It looks like they're swapping Kamala in place of Biden. She's probably going to pick her VP around the DNC, and we're going from there. But doesn't look like Biden's going to lead the ticket. Obviously, the polls are showing he's getting mollywopped. And I think the swap out is going to be even worse because the Democrats have already directed the illegal aliens that they allowed over the border to vote for Biden. If they don't see Biden's name, they don't speak English. They probably ditch their phones and all IDs they have. They are not going to get the memo to go out and vote for Kamala Harris because they can't speak English. So they're like, who? Vote for who? Who? ¿Quién? Like, they don't know who to vote for now when Biden gets swapped out. So, man, this is going to be very interesting. A wild weekend, wild turn of events. Never saw this assassination attempt this weekend coming. I did think that they were going to try and kill him, but I didn't think it was going to be this early. But it all makes sense before the RNC so that somebody else could go against Biden, and then they would think that that person was going to get nominated and win. That's how the Democrats mapped it out. It didn't work out. The shooter missed. Whether it had been the second shooter or the Patsy shooter, they both missed. Donald Trump, he overcame this assassination attempt. I believe there will be more to come, but at the end of the day, this was an amazing, amazing effort by President Donald Trump. He's fought. He was commemorated at the RNC, walked in with a crowd greeting him. Man, this moment, that moment is going to go down in history. The images that we have from that is going to go down in history. Us covering this is a part of American history. And you guys who sat through this breakdown with me, I hope that you are more educated on this subject, on this topic. Whenever these leftists and liberals and woke Democrats try and tell you Trump staged it, then you can give them the facts. You can send them this video. That's absolutely unequivocally false. That is a complete wacko conspiracy theory and will not be corroborated by any sources or any, anybody on, maybe the leftist mainstream media might be parroting that, but they all know it's not real and they can't report it as fact. So, wow, just an insane stream. I appreciate you all for joining, but you already know what it is. We are going to send it off to Jen Cuevas to take us away, because this is the Black Gen Z Mindset, aka BGZM News 17, aka Jen Cuevas Jackson. We are going to send it off to Jen Cuevas Jackson to take us away. Guys, I appreciate your support. I appreciate your supporting the merch. I did get one of you guys ordered 3 t-shirts. We're going to get that process. We're going to get it shipped out as soon as possible. All the support that you guys are giving me, it really helps. And, it's value for value at the end of the day. So make sure you watch out. Make sure you're safe out here because, hey, man, you never know. It could be your time. These super gremlins are on demon time. What's good, Shadow Realm? It's your boy Jen Cuevas Jackson, and y'all already know I'm demonetized and shadow banned in this bitch. So if you want to contribute, go to the Cash App, the PayPal, the GoFundMe, or join the Patreon. Also, don't forget to visit the merch store for all your favorite BGZM News 17 gear, including our exclusive Trump is a Blood t-shirt. Go fast before they sell out. They are already flying off the shelves, no cap. And remember, these super gremlins are on demon time.
Yo, what's good, BGZM News 17 family? I'm at the corner of Jesse Jackson and Marcus Garvey, and I got some bad news for you. As you can see, I lost my job. I'm out here living in cardboard boxes outside of boarded up vacant homes. YouTube said I'm done getting money out here in these streets. They even took my funky ass suit. So anything right now would help. So go ahead and hit that Cash App, hit that PayPal, hit that GoFundMe. Hell, cop the merch. Or if you want to make the long-term commitment to the Jen Cuevas Jackson Fund, join the Patreon so that I can continue to put out top-notch content each and every day. Also, check out the Rumble, where there is absolutely no censorship. Link in the description box below.
Hey, yo, ain't that nigga did Quavius? Yo, I recognize.
No, that's not me no more.
Hey, yo, run your pocket.
Y'all killing me with this shit.
Do the opposite of Antonio Brown and take
What
all your
more
shit
do
off.
you want from me?